I don't even know if it's got. There it goes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 119. Guys, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit nasally. I'm sick right now. I'm
Don't worry,
actually
guys. I
sick as a
flipped into
dog.
all the pain already for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, Lane, he said if you don't go live, I'll never speak to you again. So I'm like,
Yep.
whatever, I'll tough it out. And, Mike
Yeah,
said the
I
same
know.
thing. They're just all turning against me.
You should have heard he was playing before we came on. He was just beforehand. He was playing up "Eye of the Tiger" just to get himself all like pumped up.
I had to. Otherwise, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. But guys, so I apologize if you hear sniffling occasionally. I'll try my best to mute myself throughout the stream, or if I have to blow my nose or whatever, I do apologize. But I'm here. Got some really exciting stuff to talk about this week, and I couldn't skip out on it. I just couldn't do it. Got to talk about that Jungle Hunter Predator, the Scarlet Witch, Stitch. How many people are excited for Stitch?
I mean, if you didn't go, think about how next week how stressed you would have been
I
because
know.
Hot Toys seems like they're maybe not as many announcements right now, but now it feels like it's the we're gonna throw a whole bunch of stuff you guys have been waiting for. Or we've had been ready to pack up over the last 2 months.
I know, and then we have that event coming up in a couple
Yep.
months. There's going to be plenty of stuff, guys.
You
Plenty
never
of stuff to
stop,
go around.
baby.
ACG HK is coming up, so I'm excited to see what we get from that. Shout out to my boy Brick
Hey,
Artemis. I was able to catch his stream earlier talking about the Scarlet Witch, starting us off right on that figure fund goal with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Brick, my friend. I appreciate it. Brick says, "Bring on the heat." I know Brick's very excited for the Scarlet Witch, just like I am. Like I said, guys, we're going to talk about it. Obviously, if you've read the comments on Facebook and stuff, you've seen kind of what everybody's saying about it. So I'm going to share my thoughts on it. Lane's going to share his thoughts, and then we'll hear your guys' thoughts in the chat as well. But we're going to say what's up to everybody else. Brick, thank you so much for being here, my friend, as always. Guys, check out the replay of Brick's stream earlier with Flavio. Really cool stream, just chatting about the Scarlet Witch and some stuff that's been recently waitlisted. I was cracking up because Flavio was like, I think they were talking about the Mark 42, and Flavio was like, "Is this fully waitlisted now?" And then Brick's like, I think so. So Brick clicked on it, went through all four versions. They're all waitlisted. He's like, "Damn, I really wanted that one." And of course, I had to troll him in the chat and be like, "You wanted it that bad, you didn't pre-order one of the four versions." And then, of course, X-Man Supreme said the same thing, so I was cracking up. But they're a great duo over there. That was really making me laugh. So, but we're gonna read through the chat and then we'll get started. I think we're gonna start with Scarlet Witch because we got two kind of deep dive topics today. I have some secret base photos. Shout out to 16 Lovers. I always make the joke like I forget to ask him for high res photos that he sends to me. So he sent me some photos of the Jungle Hunter Predator. If you guys haven't watched my video yet, I have a lot to say about it. I'm not going to go as in depth as I did in my 25-minute analysis of it, but I'll share
yep.
my thoughts on it and tell you guys kind of my issues with it and hear your thoughts on it as well. We got my dude, Valkyrie Magnus, in the house, a hotline hottie and a moderator, and an all-around good dude. I love this guy. He's just so positive, and everywhere you go, you're happy to see him. So, Val, thank you so much for being here, my friend. He says, Hot Toys Hotline time. I wish I could scream. No woos this stream, Big Dog Pound, because Chris won't be here tonight. He ditched us for the amusement park, so no woos, because my voice is just not going to have it. I'll just have to go, woo! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mike should be here very shortly. I'm excited to have Mike on as well. I don't think I forgot to send him the link this time, so I think we're good. Valk says, also, good afternoon, Connor and friends. Let's have a fun stream. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Evening here. Hope you're doing well, as always. We got another hotline hottie with the goated username Boba Fettuccine in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing well on this fine Tuesday evening. We got Lane saying what's up to everybody in the chat. We got Pedro Lopez, so you know what's going to follow that. Hashtag hotline confirmed. What's up, Pedro? Thank you so much for being here, bro, as always. We got my dude, Jose Plus, in the house. What's up, Jose? Jose says, hey, you didn't cancel the stream. I know. These guys, man, all my friends always troll me about canceling the stream. And then when I do a stream, it's like I haven't done one in months. They're like, oh, you're actually going on? Just never get a break. But Jose, thank you so much for being here, as always, my friend. Always great to see you. Jose and I have been chatting about the Jazz Inc. stuff.
Or they're going to be going at you. Well, sir, you didn't give me my 2-hour stream that was somehow in my user agreement with.
I know.
With Google.
I know. Earlier today, I was just thinking to myself, like, Sean streamed from the hospital one time, and I'm not going to stream because I'm sick. So I had to come here. And what,
Well,
it wasn't
I
only
mean,
just
you
Lane
did
trolling
have
me.
a certain individual who kind of, laid the groundwork there for
That's true.
neither rain nor shine nor hospital bed shall keep thy stream from
I
running.
know. That's true. I have no excuses. We got Bailey Felgate in the house. I hope I pronounced that right. Bailey says, I'm ready for my wallet to be rinsed from the event. Me too. Me too.
Rinsed, dried, and pulverized.
If you guys know me, if there's Star Wars, which honestly this time I'm hoping is less Star Wars. As crazy as that sounds, I want to see some other people get a little taste, and maybe some DC stuff. I love my DC stuff as well.
Maybe
Maybe 007 finally, Lane. Maybe
some variety.
Right.
That's always appreciated with these special events, especially for one-offs. Maybe.
Right. Granted,
like RoboCop
granted, Lane, if they do Star Wars, I'm not going to complain.
If you would not be decrying to the sky to how could I do my episode 1
wow.
Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Wow,
It's
Howard.
like why do we need 5 Why did you put this out? Why do we need 5 Kenobis in 3 years?
Right, Lane, I'll be like, wow, Howard, how dare you announce this Obi-Wan and Anakin battle damaged Mustafar 2-pack? How could you?
Yeah, I know. You'll be
just spend more money.
Tears.
Yeah,
$600, baby, handed over. You'll be like, here's $1, $2, just to make it last as long as possible.
I know.
Till they come out.
What will I ever do? Tom in the house. Tom says, what's up, by the way, Tom? Always great to see you, bro. Tom says, hey, everyone, opening up a figure and talking figures. What an awesome night. Hope you feel better, Connor. Thank you so much. I'm currently confined to the guest bedroom. Whether I'm sick or my girlfriend's sick, I always end up in the guest bedroom somehow. How is that fair? How is that fair at all? I don't know. But thank you, Tom. Tom actually got a really awesome deal on I think he had the all-in Hot Toys Deluxe set for the Pattinson Batman and the Bat Cycle for Pattinson. So congrats on that, Tom. I've had both of them. The Hot Toys was a solid figure. I have the InArt 2-pack all-in set with the signal and everything now. Got rid of my Hot Toys one, but I still have the Bat Cycle. Really dope vehicle. I just wish that we got the Drifter motorcycle. It's a bit of a shame. I know there's some customs out there, but I'm like, I can't spend $600 on that. It's just not worth it to me. And yes, Wolverine should be dropping very soon, I heard. So hopefully we see that sooner than later, because, that's one I'm very excited for. I got rid of my 70s Wolverine. I did actually also, right as Mike joins, he's going to be disappointed in me. I sold my brown suit Wolverine, dude. I had to let it go. I'm like, I can't have 4 Wolverines, so Hugh Jackman's getting the biggest taste of the shelf display. So got to give that space to Hugh Jackman. Yeah, so I still have my animated Tiger Stripe suit, but I did sell off the brown suit because I'm like, you know what? I'm not enjoying it like someone else might. So I basically let it go for what I paid from kid.
Plus you can get it for more than retail because people actually wanted it. It was an exclusive.
Yeah, I literally broke even on what I paid from Kit because I got it from Kit actually. Because
okay, yeah.
I missed on Sideshow, but the more I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? Let somebody else enjoy it. I never actually read those comics. I just liked the history behind the.
Plus, there's a deluxe Wolverine going to be coming possibly here in the near future to run you over, so an extra couple hundred might help.
Exactly, and Hugh Jackman has my heart, so I'm like, I have his main suit from Deadpool and Wolverine, and I also have the shirtless one as well. So I'm like, why not? Why not get rid of that one and make some room for them? And yes, guys, I will.
Speaking of Wolverine, man, that's him right there.
The Wolverine in the flesh, like that's comic accurate size and everything. That's him.
Well, I got that right there is the sideshow.
Oh, is that's the sideshow premium format? Him in the Weapon X, and it's supposed to be in the cylinder, basically.
Yeah, man.
Floating in the water.
I was trying to be like Lane.
Cool.
I was trying to be like Lane, and I did a review for Batman Statue Collectors channel.
Look how inspirational you are, Lane.
Well, I mean, I got to do something right in the world.
You do plenty right, Lane. You do plenty right.
I'm good at breaking stuff. That's about it.
You are good at breaking stuff, but it's okay. We all break stuff sometimes. We all do. By the way, what's up, Field to Burn in the house, a hotline hottie, but and also Mike, I didn't give you your introduction because I'm just out of it because I was telling everybody you and Lane you guys forced me to stream. You said if you don't go live, you're never talking to me again. So
that's right.
I am, dude.
Except Mike did it better because he included a bub in it.
He did say bub at the end. It was a voice message too, so it actually had some like oomph to it.
Some grizzly sounding.
You know what I do best, bub.
I see Mike came prepared with the Fartisan Mike name. I guess because we're going to be talking about the Scarlet Witch. Perfect timing to add the Fartisan name in there. But Robert, thank you so much for being here, my friend, and for being a channel member as always. Always great to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yes, guys, I will be joining Jose on his channel at some point. We can't tell you when yet. It's a surprise. But of course, whenever we find out, we'll share details with you guys. We got assistant to the regional Sith. Dude, and he's got that witch in his profile picture. Man, she was such a great villain. And then she tried to, I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't finished Andor, but don't ever try to step to my boy Luthen ever in your life. What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. He said, what event is coming up? It's ACG HK. I believe it's like towards the end of July, early August. I think that's when it usually goes on.
See,
there's going to be a shit ton of figures shown off there. That's usually what happens.
It's really, it's funny. Disney has made me like, I think, actually the sequel trilogy less as time gone on due to things like Andor, because I'm like, you get 2 seasons of that show with great characters to build a super death weapon that is the mini-me super death weapon that gets created on by the successor to the Empire. So it really makes all of these stories pointless because there's something way big and more powerful that eventually gets made. I find that kind of annoying with the overall storytelling. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I have to remember.
I know what you mean.
Myself. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. That show, I don't know. I feel like the second season of Andor just came at such a good time because,
Oh, I don't mean to call it so, but I mean, the problem is part of the overall storytelling. That's part of my annoyance with Disney story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah. We're not going to get into
But I get what you're saying. I could talk about it for hours, so I want to stop us there. But I totally get what you're saying. But I had a great time watching it, though, at the end of the day.
Damn, Moose Stream. You were
Moose
busy.
in the house. Yes, Moose actually cleaned out John from Off the Racks with the rest of his extra stock of the dewback. So he bought the regular dewback and the full all-in set with the trooper as well.
Well, hey, Dewback, Moose, you were in the same
Nice.
the same party zone as like Nate and stuff for multiple Dewbacks.
Dude, I think Moose is in his own territory, bro. Like, he has like every Batman Jazz Inc. vehicle I think he has all of them for the most part, which is pretty impressive. He's got a pretty awesome collection. He never shows it off. He's not that type of guy, but he has some really, really cool stuff. Thank you, by the way, for being here as always, Moose, and OG Hotline Hottie. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We got Gio, the movie canon, in the house. Gio was just recently on the stream. We had a great time with Gio. Gio, I hope you're doing well, my friends. We're going to talk about something that'll probably interest you at the end of the stream, Gio, apart from probably the Predator as well. We're going to talk about something at the end of the stream, Batman-related, and I have a little bit of information on that. So thank you so much for being here, Gio, for being a hotline hottie and being all around the best guy ever. Thank you so much for being here.
When we actually get to the Predator, I'm going to have a question for both of you guys. Or something in relation to that.
I've got answers when it comes to that. Predator.
Yeah, no, but it might be a silly question, kind of, but I'm gonna have something I want to ask you guys for.
Oh, that's okay.
Involving with that figure maybe coming, but anyway, that'll be
sure.
Later too.
Yeah, absolutely. We got one Adam 12 in the house, another hotline hottie. Thank you so much for being here, Adam. As always, Adam says, "Hey guys, hope you feel better soon, Connor. Thank you so much. Just opened my Batman modern suit. Great figure. It is a great figure. I said it before. I love that little smirking sculpt mouthpiece that he comes with." And I actually saw that figure is like starting to go up a little bit on eBay, which is surprising to me. Maybe they didn't make that many of them. But it's a really cool figure. Really, really cool figure.
Quick question. If anybody in the chat knows what that little black mouth plate is for, like it covered, like there's a black, it's just a black piece of plastic that fits into the mouth plate.
That's probably for putting it on the bust, maybe? I don't
know.
Maybe
we already got the empty cowl with it.
I don't know.
No, it sits just fine on the bust. Anyway, yeah, I even asked Justin. He has no idea. So if anybody out there knows, let us know.
If I'm being honest with you, when I opened it up, I probably just put that in my accessory bag and didn't even look at it. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was just guessing. I have no idea. I did put the extra
a lot of people don't know what I'm talking.
Yeah, I have no clue. But yeah, I'll have to investigate that myself and take a look at it. I'm usually pretty good at piecing stuff like that together, but I remember one time like this little piece came off one of my figures, and I'm like, I have no freaking clue.
Also, I'm lagging pretty bad, so if I'm talking over you guys or something.
Yeah, I did notice you.
Yeah, I'm lagging real bad. I'm sorry, I'm talking over you guys. Just FYI. Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, sorry.
Good. It's all good. Well, like when we call on you to say something, I'll like give you a gap of so it catches up.
I'm streaming from the moon, so there's a delay.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. There's limited bandwidth up there.
Moon-based alpha Mike. coming to.
Clone Trooper says, "Let's talk some curls, Leiku, and dreads." That's actually funny, dude. That's funny. That is exactly what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
We got Payton23 in the house. By the way, thanks for being here, Clone Trooper. I hope you're doing well. We got Payton23, the gift meister, and a moderator, and an all-around good friend. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Big Dog Pound, I said this earlier, dude. With me being sick, I don't want to lose my voice. I can't hear. Woo! Woo! That's all you get. Chris isn't here tonight, dude. He bailed on us, man. Wee! Thank you so much for being here, Big Dog Pound, a channel member, a moderator, and the hype machine in chat. We appreciate you as always. Jordan in the house. What's up, Jordan? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here as always. Jordan, she just got some custom CCFL lightsabers, I think, or maybe they're the other one, the newer. Correct me. I think I could be wrong. They could be like the newer technology they're using. Either way, they look amazing. I couldn't afford them to do all of my Jedi, so I probably won't ever touch that stuff, but they look so freaking good. She was posting photos of them. They look awesome. So congrats on that, Jordan. I can tell you're really excited about it. Mike's laughing at Jose's laughing at what Mike said on his name, Farson. We got Sean in the house, a.k.a. the Nightmares Cave. Sean says, hello there, listening while driving home. I love doing that. Or listening in the morning. I do that a lot as well. It's just, it's calming. I don't need to see people's faces. I've seen them enough. I can just listen and enjoy it.
Yeah, what's up, Sean?
How's it going, Sean? Always great to have you here, my friend. Renee asks, is the sculpted version of Scarlet Witch also released, or is it just Artisan? Yes, so interestingly enough, they combined them both into one post when it was released. So if you actually go through the photos, there's like 70, 80 photos. All of the photos are all combined into one post. Excuse me. So yes, they are both released. Big Dog Pound says, I hope you feel better. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Sorry, guys, if I skipped over your name, as always. As we have our discussions, I'll say what's up to you guys. Can't forget my boy Sneaky Figures, my dude. What's up, Al? Hope you're doing well, my friend. A hotline hottie, a moderator, a 1/12th collector connoisseur. I hope you're doing well, dude. Thank you for being here, as always. Neo LED, I knew I was wrong on that. I'm like, CCFL, well, like, that's old school. What are we talking about that for? Thank you for correcting me. Neo LED, guys. If you're curious, Jordan, if you want to, you could drop the name of the company in the chat. They look really good, and they were painted actually better than a lot of them. Because, a lot of those 3D printed ones, they're painted kind of rough. Those look pretty good. We got Zombie in the house. One of my good friends from the Discord. Zombie says, howdy. What's up, Zombie? Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Renee, I mean, it's hard to say. Usually this stuff is anywhere from like 1 to 3 months. It's been very like all over the place lately. I would imagine the sculpted version will probably be arriving in a quicker fashion than the Artisan, because that's what's been happening lately. But I don't know. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute. Sorry, guys. Like I said, sorry if I'm being gross wiping my nose, but...
Depends where you got it from, too. Like, Sideshow is usually shipping last. Like, they're getting... their retailers will get it to you faster if you got it from them.
That's what I was going to say. Even the retailers have been getting it quicker. Okay, Jordan says, Ironworks Custom. Thank you for that. So I can blow my nose. We're going to start our first topic, and Mike, I'm just going to let you just let her rip right off the bat. We're talking about the Artisan Scarlet Witch. So, Mike, start us off.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm no like Wanda aficionado or anything. So in that regard, I think the sculpt looks great. I think the tailoring looks awesome. I think the figure is fantastic. I love the sculpted. Just really not a fan of the Artisan hair here. And I've never been like a big rooted hair person anyway, just so you know where I'm coming from with that. I think rooted hair has to look perfect to look good, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think like good, just looking good is never better than sculpted. So that's just how I look at it. Like I got the Batman 22 from InArt, and my copy looks perfect. So I'm very happy with it. And that's the thing. Like there's no room for error, in my opinion, with rooted, or it looks distracting. And here, this looks very distracting to me. And Hot Toys is so good. And I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time as I say the same thing. Hot Toys is so good at sculpted hair now. For example, I think they're better than InArt at sculpted hair.
By a mile.
So I think, these companies have, like any company, things they're strong at and things they're still probably working on. I think Hot Toys has not perfected the rooted hair. I look at it like this. In my opinion, I say go for the rooted, if you plan on purchasing the figure and sending it out to get rooted, then just, you're going to save some money by buying the Hot Toys rooted version, because it's going to look pretty good, and it's going to be at least $150 cheaper than sending the sculpted head out to get rooted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a good cost savings thing if you really want a character rooted, and Hot Toys is offering it. Go for it. In this case, though, apples to apples, I think the sculpted looks a lot better, even so much as the coloring on it. You get the coloring looks more movie accurate, and you get with that the paint application, you get more depth.
Description of what it looked like.
And lanes.
I muted him.
And so yeah, but again, like, I think the base looks great. I think the effects look really cool. I haven't spent a ton of time today looking through this figure. I should have, but I just didn't have much time today. But when I looked at it in the morning, I was like, first of all, we're used to this now. The rooting always looks much different than the prototypes have. I would say it drops off even more than your average head sculpt drops. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, look, when you get it in hand, just style it to how you want it to be. My argument with that is, like, I'm not paying to style my own hair. I'm paying for it to be, artisan. Like, when I get an artisanal pizza, everything's artisan now, right? So you go to these artisanal pizza places. Like, I don't come home and like rearrange the toppings on the pizza because they did a crap job. I don't have to do anything to it. That's what the word artist is. I don't get a painting from an artist and throw my own color on there. I want these perfect out of the box. I know they have to deal with things like humidity, etc., but these curls are too tight. It doesn't look right. And in my opinion, you're going to have to futz with it. If that's you and you're comfortable with it, just know what you're getting into. And maybe you can get it to your liking. And I hope you do. I hope you can, because I want people to love this figure. For me, if this was a character or a figure I was picking up, I'd be very, very happy with the looks and the money saved on the sculpted. It's just my 2 cents.
Well said. So, my opinion is kind of like in the middle of what you said. And so I will say this, and I made this joke on Instagram earlier after, and I want to give a big shout out, and I'm going to show it very shortly. Bow Figure Photography. That dude knows his stuff. He takes amazing photos, and he owns like multiple high-end head sculpts with rooted hair for Wanda. So he knows his stuff. And this kind of like ties into what Mike was saying about, I don't want to buy something and have to do anything with it. And I do understand that to an extent. My counter to that, and I know a lot of people are going to agree with Mike on that, and I'm kind of in the middle, right? I do agree. It's a $400 doll. You shouldn't have to, I like to say doll because it makes people mad, but you get what I'm saying. It's $400, over $400. I agree with Mike. You should be able to take it out of the box and throw it on there and call it a day. But I think there is a certain expectation with these figures that it doesn't exactly work that way with every single figure. It's not like a one-size-fits-all solution. And I liked what Lane said earlier. It's kind of like the more hair they have, the more you have to mess with it to make it look better. Like, perfect example, like InArt put out a video for their Gandalf and said, like, hey, you have to style the beard, you have to style the hair, like, put a little water on a makeup brush. Did they bother saying that for Paul or Harry or Ron? No, because like they have shorter hair and like, like what Mike was saying, like it's an artisanal type product. You pull it out of the box, it's ready to go. Haven't had to touch the hair on Paul Atreides at all. Haven't had to touch the hair on the Pattinson Batman, although a lot of people did have to on that one. I like I said, I'm like kind of in the middle. I will say this, though. The joke I made earlier was, like, they need to fire these bloggers. And the reason I said that is because this particular photographer, great photos in terms of application of the lighting and everything, but I feel like the hair they did nothing with it. And someone made a joke to me earlier. It looks like they're like a judge or something. That old school, like, it's like George Washington type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Britain still they still wear those wigs.
Right.
Court. Yeah,
right.
They still wear them.
So that's the joke they made. I'm like, that's actually hilarious. Because it's like, I look at shit like this and I'm like, how do you put this out? And you're like, this looks perfect. This is what we're
Nailed
putting
it.
out. Like, right. Like, I look at this, like, this looks terrible. The way that it's sitting. If they, at the very least, kicked it off to the side over the shoulders or kicked it behind, because she does wear her hair like that in some scenes, it would have looked way better. But I agree, the comments of people saying it kind of looks like a wig in some of these photos, the way they've presented it here, it kind of does. So
I think that has to do with the hairline as well.
yeah, and also like the tightness of the hair kind of pulling
Right.
it over the silhouette of the face. I will say this, and I'm gonna die on this hill. I actually think the head sculpt itself looks better than the prototype. I like how
Yeah.
it looks in the final. Not necessarily. And another thing, guys, I want to say this as well. When I looked back at the prototype, I don't think the prototype hair looked as good as I remembered it looked. I thought it had too much volume. I thought it was super loose at the crown, like. So it's like this is kind of like an in between where they, you know, they took some of the volume out, it seems, but they wrapped some tighter curls. So what Bow Figure Photography told me that he did is all he did was take a toothbrush with no water or anything, and he combed out the hair towards the back, I guess. He didn't say exactly how he did it, but he basically said he took a toothbrush, no water or anything, and combed it out. And I'll pull up his video just for reference because in this little clip that he put up here, I think it looks pretty nice.
Look at that. Yeah.
yeah,
This might
way
be
better.
a protective measure for shipping and
Exactly.
dealing with
Someone said that to me
environmental
earlier.
changes. 100%, man. And what you touched on, and I think some other people talking in the chat, 1 out of 12, I saw him. You can take comfort in the fact that I've never gotten a figure from Hot Toys and said, man, in person, it doesn't look as good as those amazing blogger photos. So it's always the opposite. It always looks better in hand. And I think this is a great example of it.
Yeah, and I want to say this, guys. I don't want to disrespect the bloggers. We're making jokes about it, but and I couldn't do any better. But at the same
No, I'm
time,
not
they're being
disrespecting.
paid to present the best final product for, and it's make or break for some people because
Yeah.
you know, so many people are like, I'm canceling this shit.
Right.
So it's very important to get it right. So it's like, you know, I'm not trying to crap on the bloggers.
No,
And
we're not naming names or anything.
Right.
No,
It's just I just want to give a big shout out to Bao. He did send me a photo of it in my DMs on Instagram. I don't want to share it because he hasn't posted it yet. So, you know, I don't know if he wants to put that up yet. Like maybe he's preparing a post for it. So I don't want to share that photo. But he sent me a photo of it as well. Dude, and like it looks way better. And he said all he did was just kind of brush the hair back with a toothbrush. Or if you guys have makeup brushes, you could do the same with that. Renee asked a question, and guys, I'm going to touch on your comments as well. Renee asked, in your guys' opinion, do the pre-order concept photos of the face sculpt of Elizabeth Olsen look different than these new pictures? Ever so slightly, yeah, I think they do. And like I said, I already mentioned this. I think that the final product sculpt looks a little bit better to me. Not, you know, hair aside, I think the final product sculpt itself looks a little bit better, just in my personal opinion.
Outfit looks better too.
Yeah, like, and you know, lately Hot Toys has been doing pretty good. Like that evil Scarlet Witch from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. I think that's a pretty damn good sculpt. I don't have that figure anymore, but I did have it at one point. It's pretty damn good. So I imagine this one in person is going to be excellent. But yeah, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I didn't give him a close side by side from the, you know, proto to this, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And someone asked about the sculpted version. Well, we will get through the photos. But like I said, guys, the way that they styled the hair in these photos is just... I get it. What they were probably doing was, hey, take the photos straight out of the box experience. Don't set any false expectations, which is kind of stupid at the same time because they know everybody kind of does their own thing with the rooted hair. But that's probably what they told them, I would imagine.
I think that's a good thing, though. It's truth in advertising. You're going to get it looking like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe that's why they did that. We got Doc
Yeah.
Bat in the house, by the way. What's up, Doc? I hope you're doing well, bro. Thanks for being here. Clone Trooper says, in all my years, I've never seen a woman style her hair this way. Adam says, never trust blogger photos. Video looks good. Hot Toys blogger pics are often mid to terrible. As of lately, you know,
Right.
with Anakin, it's the rooted hair stuff, guys, especially the rooted hair stuff. Like, what the freak are they doing, man? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, even face sculpts look better in person. Your eye sees things and interprets things differently than it does on a photograph.
Absolutely. We got Steve in
Who's
the
this
house.
guy?
Yeah, who is this guy? We got Steve, the evil sneaker, aka Figures and Fandom, a hotline hottie. Excuse me, for 14 months. Thank you so much, Steve, for being here. As always, my friend, I appreciate you. Let's see. That's hilarious. Flavio's making a joke about the bloggers. He said Jingo Bell's days are numbered. I was telling Bao Figure Photography, like, when is Howie going to put you on full time? They need you. And by the way, what's up, Gabriel? Always great to see you, my dude. I hope you're doing well. Gabriel saying they definitely need new photographers. If anything, just be a little more strict about certain things like the rooted hair figures. Like, come on, man. Like, you're sending people into a hysteria with this stuff. Like I said, the face sculpt to me looks excellent. I think it looks spot on like Elizabeth Olsen. I'm very happy with the face sculpt. The outfit looks nice. The pants look like not like a pleather. They look like I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe like a vinyl surface to them. I don't know. They don't look like.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
And there's the sculpted version, which the hair on the sculpted version reminds me of one of the alternate hair pieces for the Multiverse of Madness version, which looked very good in person. I do agree. I think the sculpted version out of the box without having to mess with it or anything looks very, very good.
Looks great. Yeah.
And it frames the face. And again, that's what we kind of saw earlier. The way you adjust the rooted hair will properly frame that face, which definitely adds to the likeness or takes it away from it if you don't have it adjusted properly straight out of the box.
Yeah, you know the phrase "uncanny valley." You familiar with what it means? It's like, you know, the closer you try to get to realism, sometimes the more unsettling or off-putting it can be, and that's always the risk with the rooted hair. It's like, well, this is real hair, and it's like, yeah, but it just the eye picks up on even the most subtle falsities, whereas if it's all plastic and it's all just a toy, then it's just a toy and it's less bothersome. Does it make sense?
No, I totally get what you're saying.
You know, but again, it doesn't mean, it just means unfortunately, rooted has to be perfect, in my opinion, to be acceptable. Right. Maybe I'm just too much of an see, look at that. Look at the way it comes to the peak in the center, and they've added some paint work on the actual face sculpt to give it that blended look. You know, they try to do that with the paint. It just looks more natural, even though this is all plastic.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, Sneaky makes a good point here. With these rooted figures, we've seen it with all these companies. There's always going to be a shitty copy out there to a great copy. You know what I mean? You're always going to see. And, you know, like I felt like they were very consistent with Paul Atreides and Harry. But then you look at like the Pattinson 2-packs. And
Bruce Wayne.
The
Bruce Wayne, they dropped it.
Rough. There were some really rough copies mixed in there. And then like Hot Toys with the Joker. We saw the issue with the glue and shit. Some people's were perfectly fine.
Anakin.
And Anakin as well. Some people's out of the box weren't too great either. But
I think it's been just the case. It seems like the Chinese and lots of there've been plenty of this major statue companies. All the different manufacturers have been running into, I think, in the last year, production issues with stuff. I think it's been an issue with the Chinese factories in general. Seems to have been having some QC stuff. Now, can we say like Hot Toys or other stuff need to be maybe a little bit more on the ball? Now, for Hot Toys, I'm going to say maybe it is their problem that they have too many effing figures being produced, so they can't kind of hit the slowdown button a little bit necessarily for some of their figures but you know, if Captain Enoch, a whole bunch of those had a lot of problems with them, can I go after and crush Hot Toys for running into that problem? Because it's like, well, they should have, but however, this guy is like, that's a character maybe they made 2,000 of, 1,500 actually of. So it's not good it happened, but you know, in 2 weeks, are we going to remember when whatever else the heck, you know, Scarlet Witch is popping up and all her figure come out perfect.
We're not going to remember, Lane, because the ball never stops rolling. That's the blessing and the curse of this hobby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, by the way, guys, 74 people watching. We appreciate you guys for being
What's up,
here,
everybody?
as always. I hope everybody's doing well. If you haven't already, consider dropping a like on the stream. I would appreciate it. Guys, maybe we should do a poll. Let's do a poll because I feel like we got to do an Artisan. After seeing the final product, we got to do an Artisan versus Sculpted just to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So we're going to do Scarlet Witch, Artisan versus Sculpted. And
what do you guys, I mean, not to change the subject, but is everybody kind of the general consensus happy with the rest of the figure? Because, again, I'm no expert, but I think she looks great.
I think so. I've seen no complaints about the fit, about the actual likeness on the sculpt. It's been very little, like a small percentage. The base
is great.
Yes, the base is awesome. And here, Lane, since you're bringing up the base, shout out to our boy Figure Hideout as always. We're going to pull up his video in the background. The base is gorgeous, man. Really, really great job on the base.
And as I talked about a little bit before he came on. This is a diorama base that yes, there's a lot going on with it and everything. But the entire center, most of where you would put the figure, there's space. You have space where you can manipulate her and actually now. I never like seeing those particular things with Holder around these kind of outfits and everything, but you can actually bend her legs, move her, and put her in a little bit of an action pose. There's enough space in there on that base, unlike a lot of dioramas.
Yeah, and Lane, hold that thought because we're going to talk about that later with the Predator because that was actually one of my complaints.
Yeah.
Zombie makes a great point. The Artisan Jack out the box for me was fantastic. I had 2 copies of that because I did have a review copy early on, and then my own copy came. And my copy from Sideshow was
that's so good.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, the base is sick. I really do like the base. I think they did a great job in the lighting effects with the flickering and everything.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks about that flickering effect, though, if you guys have like smart plugs and shit, it won't freaking work with them because it's on a different type of circuit. I'm not an electricity expert, but it's like that with the Anakin base, with the lava base. When you try to flip it on with everything else, it doesn't kick on.
So I just hit up Sideshow about the Bloodfin. My Bloodfin. Am I echoing really bad?
No, you're good. You're actually way better than when we started the stream. Like you're not delayed or anything. So that's Maul's speeder, right?
Yeah. It's not turning on. I actually want to test it now, just like with a different. Because I think with these cell phone plugs, it's a different. Like you said, I want to use one of my USB plugs and really try it out. It's a good point. I'm glad you raised that issue.
Yeah, some
I
of it
still
doesn't
wish they would
kick
not
on.
use these stupid new neck connectors. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate those things.
Especially not on Artisan figures where
I hate putting the bitch on. Am I the only one who chose to stick it on and I feel like I'm about to fuck up the neck or something?
Dude, they're so unnecessary, dude. I went on a rant. I almost threw my I won't get into it, but yeah, my Thrawn, I just flipped out. Because you got to tuck his damn pants into the boots, and then you're trying to put the sculpt or take the sculpt off, and everything's untucking.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and you can snap them, but also I just mean with the now this is the same thing with the InArt too. But these stupid connectors, I had such a horrible time trying to attach this Darth Vader Sith Apprentice onto the neck and stuff because I was having to press down so much.
It's scary to do, right? And you got to make sure you line up the little teeth. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't have like a positive
the old
enough
just circular
click.
ball. The old circular ball. You just go boop, push it on.
Yeah,
boom,
there must be some sort of manufacturing reason for that, for them to switch to this. I couldn't tell you what it is, but maybe for the rolling eyeball system, they just thought it was an easier way to implement that, make more room inside the head without having to pull. Maybe it's so you don't have to pull the back of the head off. It makes more room inside the head sculpt. I don't know.
Whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Going off of Pedro's point, Pedro said, like, maybe it's like the out-of-the-box experience. That's very possible. It sucks because obviously that creates like the hysteria of like, wow, this looks awful. But you could be right. You very, very well could be right. That's why they're doing it. Yes, that Bal, I told Bal, I'm like, you literally saved us because once I saw your video, I'm like, okay, that's what it can look like. And Adam basically says like, it's the fault of the PR person. And yeah, for sure. Yeah. If that's the case, obviously we're just theorizing. We have no idea. They very well could have told him like, we just want you to show it off straight out of the box. We don't want people to get false expectations. Blah, blah, blah. Very, very possible.
Hey, guys, I got to step away for a sec. My kid needs me.
All right, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Jordan, so Jordan, you're actually kind of touching on, you're probably saying this like right before I said it. Jordan says the framing of the head is always very important. Good example is Aragorn from InArt. If you simply move the hair around for a bit, nothing major, no water needed or brush, just move it a bit. Exactly, yeah, for sure. That definitely helps with the lightness.
I like that looks like they have some wiring in her jacket there. Too.
Yeah, the coat looks very nice. I'm really digging it.
And
the corset type top that she has on as well.
They did a really nice job with this figure. Yeah. So if you guys were on the thing or not thinking about it, if you like Scarlet Witch or you have an in-game setup, but you didn't get like the Artisan figure version of this, I would totally say I think this is one totally worth getting for the sculpted version too. There are some things I like about the sculpted hair just because of the way the design of it. I like better than the Artisan figure, but everything with this figure, like they look like they did a really
everything.
No, the one thing could be we're trying to standard the stupid high heel shoes. Boots.
Dude, don't get me started. Like freaking Gamora and
or what do you call her?
Wonder
Nova.
Woman.
Yeah,
She has
or,
high heel shoes. They all suck at
Nebula.
standing.
Nebula, especially her original figure. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that thing was a nightmare.
Yeah, pain in the ass. X-Man says outfit looks good, sculpt looks good. Definitely got to fluff up the hair. I agree. X-Man, by the way, do you still have that Jack Sparrow? Because X-Man said he had an extra Jack Sparrow Artisan that he was willing to let go for what he paid from Sideshow. So if anybody's looking for that, he does have one. I don't know if
That's
he's
a
sold it at
fabulous
this point.
figure. I still
is.
think that might be the overall best,
Yeah.
like artisan style figure that they put out so far.
Yeah.
Even though obviously it doesn't quite have as much hair like say hers or
Yeah,
something,
for sure.
or even some of the others. But just that one's its own challenge with all the curls and all the other stuff, crap that he
Right.
comes with on his
And
outfit.
Big Dog Pound, I agree. Like, if you shine, you can see it here in this video. If you shine a little too much light on it, it really lightens it up even more. So I would keep a little less light on it just to make it a little bit less light colored. Chunker says Hot Toys are also still establishing these artisan figures. Probably it'll be a yeah. I mean, and we've seen that with InArt too. InArt's already talking about doing another Joker down the line because obviously they've improved a lot since then. So I totally agree. My dude, Fig Poser in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing well, man. Fig Poser says, today, fellas, we are hotties. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for being here, bro, as always. Guys, we got 84 people watching. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Let's see. Got a lot of comments, guys, so as we're going through them, I apologize if I'm a little slow. Tom says, the base of one of the better ones Hot Toys has done. The base is one of the better ones Hot Toys. I agree. It's very cool, and I like the lighting effects a lot.
I like the energy effects, the different ones they have for her hands.
Yeah,
like
they look really good.
There's nothing I can overtly say I find bad with this figure.
Yeah.
Artisan hair, just okay. I mean, it's going to be, they're going to be hit and misses with it. I think that's true for anything. The sculpted hair for any figure is going to be the quote easier option because it's there, it's set. Now, the one thing is going to be, I would say the big difference is going to be head posing because you have all that hair versus the artisan because you can move all the hair on the artisan. You can, head pose or put her in a, twisting her head at a different angle, like a million times easier than the sculpted version. But
yeah,
I mean, that's nothing new. Like for most of us, most people I'm going to best in chat and us collectors, we understand there's going to be certain levels of futzing or movement we're going to be limited by with long hair. That just, I mean, She-Hulk, that's one I have. I know that I can't move that head at all. Pretty much.
I ditched She-Hulk, but that was a great looking figure. X-Man says, and we got some people commenting on the peg design. X-Man says, I prefer this new peg to having to pull the back of her head and screw. Yeah, exactly. I think that's why they're doing this design. And, I probably prefer that as well. And, Flavio made a good point. It kind of sucks, too, if you're going to get one of these new head sculpts and buy it like by itself and put it on an older figure. It makes it very difficult. You got to jump through hoops to get it to fit. We got my boy Jazzy in the house, a hotline hottie, and just an all-around little sweetie. Jazzy says, hello, cuties. What's up, my dude? I hope you're doing well. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm freaking wiping my nose. I'm disgusting. But thank you for being here, my bro. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. We got the GOAT. Graham, the Jedi Night's Watch, in the house. He says, well, what do we have here? And then he also says, just get the superior figure with the best likeness, #sculpted. Yeah, Graham and I were chatting about this a little bit. I know Graham made an Instagram post about it as well. It's tough. Like I said, I'm kind of in the middle on all of this. I'm like, I think with
I
a
can
little
say
fun...
not wanting to spend $300.
Ain't no way this boy's putting some got to be on his figure. That's crazy. I got some of that like expired under my sink right now that I haven't used in probably like 3 years. That's crazy.
No, that's okay.
Ain't no
Won't
way.
be using
Some
anything
got
like
to
that.
be.
No, definitely not.
Ain't no way. Got to be is crazy. The neck connector should just be magnets. Yeah, that would be cool too. I just don't know. I'm kind of scared of magnets from InArt, dude. They just kind of ditched them because they knew they didn't work too well. Yeah, also, how did I miss Philly? Sorry, Lane, to keep talking over you, but how did I miss Philly Figurecraft in the house? What's up, Philly? I hope you're doing well, bro.
Too busy blowing your nose.
Don't even get me started, dude. No, Brick. I'm not selling you those. Never.
No. He's like, when are you gonna start doing your streaming sales.
I told him I was selling some Marvel figures and some random figures off, and he's like, some of those Invincible figures. I'm like, no, dude. Guys, by the way, just because we're having a blast and we got a bunch of people here, why not? Let's give out some membership. So we're going to have 5 new Hotline Hotties here in a second. Whenever this processes, let's see. Who got it? Darren, 2501. Dude, Ekwan, the dude always wins, man. Ekwan in the house. What's up, my dude? Mark Palmer, 8-Bit B, and Toy Collector. Well, congrats, guys, on the free Hotline Hottie memberships. I appreciate you for being here. And there we go. 5 new Hotline Hotties in the house.
Good hands. They actually did some decent hands that have different gestures, although they still don't be able to match them up most of the time.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Ash Chase in the house, by the way, a Hotline Hottie. Ash, what's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. I'm checking in over from Australia. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Yeah, the Multiverse of Madness Wanda is very good. Like, the paint apps on the fingers and stuff, and how she has those, like, blackened fingers from using the Darkhold. She looks awesome. The paint apps on the eyes and everything, just really, really nice looking figure. Like I said, I went too crazy. Had too many duplicates of different characters, like, from different versions of them. So I had to cut some fat, if you will. We got SG Collectibles in the house. What's up, SG? Thank you so much for being here, as always. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely is fine. I was just making jokes because I saw the Got To Be, and I'm like, I did not expect that. I did not expect the Got To Be. Philly says, all good, buddy. It's a full house today. It's a party with all these hotties. Right, it's a little spicy in the chat today. We got all these hotties. I hope everybody's doing well, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. Boba says, personally, if I were to get the Sculpted Witch, I would get the Sculpted version and have Tina Cruz root it. Love her work. Yeah, I saw Tina does a great job, and I saw at first she was a little disappointed by Wanda. And after she saw Bao figure photography and others showing theirs in hand with it kind of futz a little bit better, she was like, okay, I'm happy. It looks much better than I expected. And yes, guys, for those of you who aren't already Hotline Hotties, if you haven't already, please consider hitting that join button. I don't care if it's the base tier or the highest tier. I would appreciate all the support because, we're broke over here on the Hot Toys Hotline because we gotta buy a lot of figures here, man. We're just buying figures like crazy, selling figures. I appreciate each and every one of you. Jazzy, I never win either, dude. I think this whole thing is rigged, man. I never win either. X-Man says, I got my shipping invoice from Pop Collectibles this morning. Still waiting to hear from Sideshow. I guess it's in regards to Jack Sparrow, perhaps. Guys, we're going to move on, though, from Wanda. Let me close out the poll because we might do multiple polls. So if you haven't voted already, you got like 2 seconds. Ending the poll here. We got 42% say Artisan, 44% say Sculpted, and some of y'all are crazy enough to get both. Well, hey, I don't blame you if you're a big fan of this character. Why not? I'm only getting the Artisan version. I did not pre-order the Sculpted, but the Sculpted looks very good. And I will be futzing with mine a little bit, and hopefully I can make it look like I want it to look. So, guys, we're going to move on. The next topic is going to be another one. And if you guys have watched my video, you already know kind of what I'm going to say. But I have a lot to say about this figure, guys. And for those of you that don't know me, or are newer to the streams, I am a Predator nut. So of course I was really hoping to see a new Jungle Hunter Predator 2.0. And just to clarify one thing, and I did say this in my video kind of multiple times, but for those who aren't aware or maybe are a bit confused, this is the 2.0 of the 1.0 MMS 90. So the MMS 90 was the 1.0 body style where they had the double jointed elbows, the goofy looking muscles and everything. Really goofy looking bodies, but obviously for the time, it was a great figure, but it's very, very outdated. There was another Jungle Hunter Predator coined the Classic Predator. That is not related to this technically, even though you'll see there's a lot of reused parts from that figure. That is the Jungle Hunter from the Predators film from 2010, which is technically he is a Jungle Hunter. He's part of that Jungle Hunter clan, but it is not, obviously, they're two completely different Predators. So keep that in mind, guys, when talking about this. 1.0 is the MMS 90. The 2.0 is what we have here in front of us from Hot Toys. So we're going to talk about it, guys. For this one, I'm going to be not too kind to it because for someone that looks at a lot of the details of these Predators and is familiar with a lot of the different design cues between like the classic Predator from Predators and the 87 Jungle Hunter, and being that this is such a sought-after announcement from Hot Toys, there's a lot of lazy shit going on here with this. It's so crazy. And guys, I want to start by saying, I know for those of us who are more casual collectors, or I say those of you who are more casual collectors, when it comes to stuff like this, you'll probably see this and like, this is badass. And I get it. It is. It's still a cool looking figure, but it's very, very inaccurate and very lazy when it comes to the 87 Jungle Hunter, because basically what they've done here, guys, is take a lot of parts from that classic Predator from Predators and just make a little change or two for the 87 Jungle Hunter, which is very disappointing. So, like, just to name a few things, and again, I'm not going to go through my whole list of changes that they need to make to this, but like this paint app here on the bicep is very telling to the Jungle Hunter Predator from the Predators film. The actual paint job on the screen used costume for the 87 Jungle Hunter does not have this bicep line straight across. It's more so cut off here, and then there's some more of that like tannish white patch toward the shoulder. Also, the paint work on the calf, or excuse me, thigh and knee area is incorrect as well. They've basically reused the paint scheme from that classic Predator. So again, it's accurate to the classic Predator, but this is the Jungle Hunter from 87. And this is the first film, guys. This is such a sought-after announcement, such a beloved film. So it's very disappointing to see that. The biomask, you know, this is very puzzling as well.
Especially after they put all that effort into the Feral Predator, which is
right.
Like probably in comparison to being known or character design, that guy's like way down the list from the Jungle Hunter. Even City Hunter, maybe even like Wolf or something like that.
Yeah,
you know, for actual Predator designs.
I agree. Moose, you are too kind, my friend. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you. Moose says, thanks for the kindness. I hope you feel better. Soon, to clarify, been collecting AFs since 98. First Hot Toy was the T800 in 12-inch. Excuse me, geez. 21, I moved for a 6-inch to 1/6 in catch-up mode for figs and displays. I'm available to panel with little notice. Yeah, we'll have to have you on one day, Moose. That'd be fun, man. But thank you so much. You are too kind, my friend. $10. That's crazy, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, like there's a lot of things that they've done here. So like all of the armor is reused from the classic Predator from Predators. The a lot of the outfit is reused as well. Again, the paint apps on the skin. The Jungle Hunter has these, they're called quills on the face. There are some sculpted in on the head sculpt, but a lot of them are not present. I think the reason they did that is to kind of make the biomask fit a little bit better. Someone mentioned on my video that maybe they could have used like rooted hair techniques and put that on the face. I thought that was a pretty good idea. I don't see Hot Toys ever doing that, but I thought that was a pretty good idea. So not having those quills kind of throws off the overall package on the face. Although the new sculpt, I think, looks pretty good. The paint scheme's just a bit off on it. For those of you who don't know, fun fact with this concept mask that comes with the deluxe version. By the way, great price on this deluxe version and the regular version, $340 for the deluxe. That's like, what, $60 cheaper than the Feral Predator? I think that's pretty damn good. So I'm happy with the price.
I think that this is one of those times where, unless you have a lot of pre-order, but if you don't have many or something, that there's not really a reason. I mean, now, you know, and you know me usually with dioramas or that kind of thing because I don't use them. But this particular one, I feel like it's just worth it to get the deluxe one because if this was like $365, $370 versus $300, I might say, oh, you know, that's quite a bit of difference there. But for $40, where they're both similar pricing,
yeah, for $40 you get the base, the skulls, and the concept mask. So, what I was saying about the concept mask, Lane, for those of you who don't recognize it, but you've seen the films, this was the original concept mask, and there are behind-the-scenes photos from Stan Winston, who did all of the costuming for this film. This was actually the original mask that they had put on this variation of the Predator after the Jean-Claude Van Damme goofy-ass whatever they were going to do with that.
Giant, like, crustacean monster.
Right, so obviously they didn't end up using this biomask for the 87 Jungle Hunter, but in Predator 2, the lost tribe of predators that you see at the end of the film when they all pop up after Harrigan kills the city hunter, the Guardian Predator actually has this biomask. So this is really cool to see a nod to that. I think
And
this is
they really-
a really cool
And
accessory.
they
I
fully
really
use
like
it
this.
on the Celtic Predator and Alien versus Predator. The
It's
evolution of this mask.
right. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but yes, it is certainly very similar, especially with that mouth grill. It is very similar. But yeah, so this biomask actually ended up being the biomask for the Guardian Predator in Predator 2, which is really cool. And I think, honestly, this biomask looks better than the Jungle Hunter biomask. So I'm happy about that. Another thing, guys, that I found pretty goofy with this, they're all reused hands. So, like, the hand to hold the spine trophy, it's just a little freaking, like, hand that's like this. And it looks so freaking goofy. If you look at the photos, let me
Oh
go.
yeah, that did not look
Oh,
good.
dude. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to that photo there where he has the spine trophy in his hand. It looks so freaking ridiculous. Like, clearly, look, that hand was clearly not made to hold this. It's just, guys, there's a lot of corners cut on this, and it's such a shame because this is such. And guys, I'll say this. I've already pre-ordered it. It's still very exciting to me.
You are
but,
very biased with this figure.
right. It's just unfortunate that they've cut so many corners with this.
Especially when you've seen like Prime One put out those third scale statues of all these Predator and their Jungle Hunter.
Right.
Is like literally
theirs is much more accurate. That one does have
Yeah.
some issues as well, but it is much more accurate than
But
this.
the detail and time and effort put into it to make it one of the
Yeah.
like one of the most stunning collectibles that you could possibly ever own, no matter what scale. Like they put the time and effort into that. Where Hot Toys is got like this license on lockdown, which could also make it why they're being a little lazy, with Disney and stuff. Like, but
let me ask you this, Lane.
yeah,
How do we think that this hand is holding this skull?
I think it's by digital projection.
Yes.
The Wizards.
There's no way that this hand is going to hold this skull like this, which kind of pisses me off because it's a reused hand again. You want to know why I know it's a reused hand, Lane? Because look,
you own the original.
Yeah, look. See that hand right there? Does that look familiar?
That doesn't look like very good for holding the skull.
Right. It's not going to hold the freaking skull unless they magically make the hand magnetic and the skull magnetic. It's just, I don't get it, dude. There's just so many corners cut.
Honestly, I don't really care about this figure too much because the Jungle Hunter is not my favorite Predator. I prefer some of the more recent Predators. They're my favorites.
Yeah.
Like basically the AVP Predators are my favorite Predators.
I love the young bloods. I mean, the 87 Jungle Hunter is always going to be the GOAT for me, but I love the AVPs
first one
as well.
But I mean, I like the movie. He's in the best movie because it's also got Arnold. Like that makes a big difference. But I actually like City Hunter, and I like most of the later Predators because they were just a little bit more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But
What's up, by the way, Mike?
He's the foundation. Like there's nothing that ever goes away from that. But there are other Predators. If they were to make 2.0s, I would be much more interested in picking up than Jungle Hunter.
Yeah, that's fair. And guys, Big Dog Pound, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the deluxe edition either sold out or was almost sold out from off the racks. I think he might have sold out of the deluxe. Flavio, that's hard to say, dude. I think they probably will do another City Hunter eventually because the City Hunter is a very beloved
Deluxe
Predator.
is sold out.
Yeah, okay, so it is sold out. Maybe we'll ask John. If you guys really want to pre-order from off the racks, let me know in the comments if you're looking to pre-order from them, and I'll ask John to see if he can get some more. Yeah, Flavio, I think they would probably do the City Hunter, if anything, because that's the main Predator from the film, but who knows? Who knows? I would love to see more Predators, especially from that new show. That would be sick to see him from the new show.
Or from the new movie. Bad.
Of course, yeah, Badlands, we're going to get Predators from Badlands for sure. Yeah, Jordan, either that or like Lane said, they just kind of digitally added it there. It's not going to work. No, so, Gabe, the weird thing is the hands on the 1.0 are correct. So the hands from the 1.0, and you guys, like I said, if you want a full breakdown, I could talk for hours about this on stream. I did a full breakdown.
There's a video if you need the full thing.
Yeah, I did a full breakdown on all the stuff that's wrong on this, but I need to kind of stop myself because I'll just bore you guys to death, unless you guys find it interesting. But yes, the 1.0 actually had the correct hands, and then these hands are the hands from the classic Predator, so which again is not connected to this particular Predator. So they've reused the armor parts, they've reused the hands. The one thing that they did, the couple things that they did right on this, they did improve the dreads from the first prototype of this new version. because the dreads are supposed to have 3 gold beads on every single dread. The original prototype had 2, so they fixed that. Also, although the armor does have a slight green tinge to it, the original prototype was green as heck and it looked ridiculous, so they did fix that on this one. The biomask, the battle damage on the biomask looks very strange in my opinion. This is like probably the most correct damage up here, this little strike on the helmet. But on the mouthpiece and in between the brow, it looks goofy. And it's just like Hot Toys just hasn't done a great job on their biomask. I think the Feral biomask is probably their best biomask they've done. I will say though, the lenses, they did a great job on the lenses. I love the weaving net pattern on the lenses. They did a great job on that. For me though, this one, because I do have like a pretty accurate converted Jungle Hunter 87 in my collection, this one I'm going to run without the biomask on it. I do like the head sculpt. Like I said, the paint apps are a bit odd. It's not quite right to the 87, more so to the classic Predator. And it's missing those quills. But I love the closed mouth mandibles, especially. I think they look really good. So, guys, you know, there's a lot of complaints that I have on this one. It is a very lazy announcement from Hot Toys. And I don't want to completely kill the excitement because this is very exciting, right? No matter how you swing it, it's very exciting. It's the frickin' 87 Jungle Hunter, the one that started it all for the Predator franchise. And, you know, like everybody's saying in the chat, we want to see another Dutch now. You got Dutch's knife stuck into the display base. So, yeah, this is very exciting. And if you don't care about these details, then, you know, more power to you. I totally understand. But, again, in my opinion, and I'll pass it on to Mike now that Mike's back, I think there's a lot of missteps here. If you guys really want me to continue going, I could keep going. But like I said, I could go on for hours and hours of all the issues with it. You know, I'll leave it at this, guys, and then I'll pass it on to Mike. You have a lot of missteps here, but it's still a very cool figure. And it's a good base if you guys are interested in getting some stuff upgraded. If things don't change too much to the final product, which I'm hoping they do, I could definitely point you guys in the right direction because I know a guy. Another thing they did change also are the wrist blades. They're no longer die cast, which does suck because they've always been die cast before the Feral Predator because those are plastic as well. But the silver lining is it does kind of like dig into the hands as you have the blade closer to the gauntlet. So that's kind of a good thing that they're plastic in a way. Okay, so SG, I will ask John, I will ask John this evening. I think he might be still on vacation, but I will ask him if he could put up some more deluxes, because those actually went really quick. Some stuff doesn't go quick for him. Those went very quick. So that does show you how exciting this figure is. Oh, yeah, Gary Busey played the dude with the frickin', like the head of that little group with those stupid suits where they were trying to freeze the city hunter.
Yeah, he played Agent Keys.
And he gets
his
sliced in half, and his torso stays in position as his legs fall away.
I kind of thought he was funny, though. That was pretty hilarious.
Gary's great. He's great.
Yeah, it was ridiculous but hilarious at the same time. Peyton says, I might need the deluxe now after watching your videos today. I didn't know it was in Predator 2. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool. And in my video, guys, I showed behind the scenes photos from Stan Winston where you could see this biomask on the original Predator suit, which is really cool. I mean, Hot Toys, you got to give them credit for that. That's very clever. Sometimes they put this useless crap that I still love eating up because I love accessories. This is very, very outside the box. I really do like this. I will ask John for you guys. I see multiple people now asking for the deluxe from John. I'm sure if I ask him, and I know that sounds bad because you said he's not responding to you. I'm sure if I ask him, he'll probably put some up. So I will ask John for you guys. I apologize that you're not hearing back from him. But let's move on to you, Mike, because like I said, I could go on forever and ever about this figure, and you watch my video. You know I have a lot to say about it. So I'm going to pass it to you. And by the way, Justin, how you figure? I didn't give you a proper welcome. What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well.
Oh, howdy finger.
A channel member and just an all-around gentleman. I just watched Justin's review for the new Superman Blizzard.
Yeah.
I just love that Justin does random stuff like that. I think it's
hilarious. That came up in my feed, and I put it into my watch later. I got to check that out, dude.
Yeah, it cracks me up. I think Justin just reviews the coolest stuff. Some of the stuff I'm actually interested in. So, Fad Gadget says getting this biomass wrong is borderline criminal. Especially because a lot of their biomass have been wrong. A lot of them have been wrong. Like I said, the Feral has been the best biomask, I think, to date, in my personal opinion. That and the Scar biomask, although I do have a custom Scar biomask, the lenses were the wrong color on that one, but the shape wasn't too bad. Let's see. last one, and then I'll jump over to Mike. Gabriel says, do you think they will fix any of the obvious stuff in the final blogger picks? I have faith that they might, just because, you know, they've been pretty good as of late fixing stuff. Guys, I feel like we have to be like Riley and Nick. Shout out to them. I feel like we have to drop that hashtag fix 87 Jungle Hunter on every post. I feel like we have to do it just to get them riled up and get them to change stuff. And by the way, what's up? I don't know if I said hi to Blue Tattoo. What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. But Mike, jumping to you. So Mike, you also are a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator. So I know this is a very important one for you as well. What are your thoughts on it? I know you've seen at least a portion of my video, and I kind of want to hear your thoughts. And as you look at it, how do you feel about what Hot Toys has presented us here, being that this is such like a big announcement and a rare announcement at that?
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, I'm getting it. I'm aware of all the imperfections, and you did a fantastic job in your video. At least informing the customer, like, hey, look, you know, you're getting it too. Like, we're not.
Right.
I think it's still a worthy addition to the collection if you're a Predator fan. It's just one of those things, you know, you can feel when the love is there from Hot Toys, and you can feel when it's pumped out, when it's just like, hey, just get it out. And that's what this one feels like. It feels like there was a lot of kind of afterthought for it. And it's disappointing because we love it. We love the franchise so much. One thing, do you think in some of these photos the head looks oversized?
It's either oversized or slightly misshapen.
Something's weird with the head.
I'm on the road of like, or in the camp of like slightly misshapen, because when you look at the biomask, it doesn't slope enough. It's supposed to kind of like slope back.
Yep.
And when you look at it from the side, like that's why like those under shots where you can kind of see under the chin, it looks better because it kind of simulates it having more of a slope.
Agreed. Yeah, I know something's weird with it. I don't know if you pointed this out, but Dean pointed it out, and I noticed it right away too. The shoulder cannon's too small.
It's way too small. I actually have a custom shoulder cannon. I'll show you, just to show you guys how big it's supposed to be. So again, another reused part from the classic Predator, because his shoulder cannon was way smaller. Look how much bigger this shoulder cannon is. And this is a custom shoulder cannon. So this was originally that figure that, does that look familiar, guys? Does that battle damage on the armor look familiar? Obviously, some of these parts are custom, but yeah, this is a custom. Yeah. This is what the biomass should look like, if you're curious. That's what it should look like. But yeah, that's what the shoulder cannon, size-wise, that's about what it should be. So keep that in mind, guys. When you're looking at it, you're like, damn, I don't know if the shoulder cannon is small. It's very small. Yeah,
it is. And, you know, I have all the NECA figures in the 7-inch scale, and I also have all their quarter scale stuff too. So I think NECA does such a great job, and you can really feel the love in the NECA figures.
Just to add on to that, when I was like looking at photos and stuff, preparing to make my video, I looked at to see what NECA did, and they did a better job on the paint scheme on the body than Hot Toys in terms 100%. Of accuracy. Don't have the bicep line. They don't have all the ridiculous like misshapen paint lines and stuff. They did a better job on such a cheaper figure.
And yeah, if you watch any videos with those guys, I mean, they are very, very passionate about this franchise and horror in general. So it's kind of like in their wheelhouse. But then again, I mean,
like
Hot Toys has a
stuff
history
too.
Right.
They've done so much.
But this is a franchise. I mean, you go back in Hot Toys history, like they should really be honoring this franchise more than they are. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm not concerned about the eyes. First of all, I'm really not going to roll the eyes on a Predator figure, to be honest with you.
Philly asked about that. Let me bring that up while you're talking. Hold on.
And I think that these are just crap proto eyes. They look flat. I think, obviously, they're going to be better when the final product comes out. But
this is a point people were making, and I kind of agree. Part of me, Mike, thinks that this is just a really shitty prototype. Like,
that's what
they plan on changing, and I highly doubt all the stuff I highlighted in my video will get changed. But I feel like this is just like a shitty prototype, and they put it out because they're like, look, we got to get people pre-ordering this thing. Let's start generating some dough. I want to believe that because I agree with Phil. And the other thing is, they said this is a newly developed body. It looks like the same body as the 2.0 body. So,
right.
Unless the torso is like posable and it's got like seamless skin, which you can't see anything like that in these photos. part of me feels like this is just a really shitty prototype, and there's a lot of stuff they haven't changed on it yet.
Right.
I want to believe that. I really want to.
That's what I'm hoping, is that we're going to get that rubberized body, and you're going to have an ab crunch, and that's your newly designed,
like the Feral
body.
Predator.
Right, the Feral Predator, exactly. So, you know, but there's some, okay, the number one thing, if I was to say, like, I really want this changed, is, well, I want a lot of things changed, but the thing I think that realistically they may improve on is if you look closely, like where the quills are, and I understand you make a great point about, hey, how are you going to smash a biomask on these quills? You can't really do it.
Yeah.
Okay. In 7-inch, you can lose that detail and nobody cares. In 6 scale, it's a little harder to ignore that missing detail.
It throws it off a lot by not having those.
It throws it off so badly. Now, you could meet us halfway, and I was almost going to swear, just paint them. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
Pisses
okay,
me off.
so you're not giving us a proper sculpt. At least give us the illusion with proper paint application. You know when you see a bad silkscreen shirt where it's like not lined up and the paint is out of the lines? Is that like what? Like there's there's splotches over the quills. That is not acceptable. I'm sorry, that's not okay. That's like painting somebody's eyebrow off of the mold of the where the eyebrow is.
Or it's really like not painting their eyebrows at all in this case. Like sculpting them in, which granted, like I said in my video, there's a lot of quills that are missing. So some people were like countering and saying, well, there are quills there. There are. But like you said, why are they there and they're not painted in? Why do they look so flat? Like they just look, they're kind of sculpted into the surface. They're not like sticking off of the head. That's why it's like, I want to believe that this is just such a crappy prototype. Like they plan on changing so much. I'm not putting faith into that, but dude, it's like.
What I think they could have given us, and maybe, I don't know, what it would have been great is if like the whole front, this whole thing pops right off from the quills, okay? The whole face. And that way, when you put the biomask on, the biomask is built so that it has the top of the head built into it, and you put it on, and it looks right. And then you take that off, you put this back on, and you can remove the mouthpieces. You know, it's a separate piece, so you can have those quills, those pointy quills, and you don't have to put pressure on them with the biomask. I think that would have been a great option. That's the part that really, really bugs me. You talk about like a guy like Philly. I mean, people, I'm not a photographer, but people that take pictures of this thing, to me, it kills it. Absolutely kills it. How can you take a really nice high res, you know, headshot of this thing and have those quills like that? It's just, it's so stupid. And I know some people might be like, who cares? You can't really see the quills, but like they molded them. They're there.
And so unmasked as well. If it's unmasked, which a lot of people will display this one unmasked.
Right.
It's frustrating. And
sorry, I know I'm getting like, I sound like I'm getting pissed. I just get like,
no,
I'm not mad. It's just annoying.
This genuinely, this announcement pissed me off. Like it really did. Like I'm still excited that it's a thing. And I'm happy for those that are like more casual collectors. And they're like, you know what, dude, it looks cool. And I'm like that with some figures too. Like we've said this before. Some of us are more passionate about accuracy on certain things than others, you know. But when it comes to Predators, and when these details are so unique to each Predator, it bothers the hell out of me. And I look at this thing and I'm like, this is just like an amalgamation of random crap that they've done over the years. And like, why does the MMS 90 from over 10 years ago have the correct hands and this one doesn't? Like it's so puzzling to me.
At every turn they took the lazier, crappier option when they even have the parts.
Right.
Like,
they could have even though like the original hands, like, you know, maybe they're not 100% accurate, but they're way closer. They could have just reused them and sized them down a little bit. I would have been fine with that. At least because the hands, and again, this is like getting into like detail stuff that I put out in my video, but the hands are not supposed to be fully gloved. It's supposed to be like a wrapping towards the wrist, and then he has finger holes going up towards the top, which was correct on the MMS 90.
That's the thing that bugs me the most is you had it correct and you went in reverse on a 2.0. Yeah. That's unacceptable.
Exactly. And kind of going along with what you were saying, Mike, this was my suggestion in my video. I would have been perfectly happy with that. I don't need the biomask to be removable if you give me a second head. So there could have been a second head with the mask built in, sculpted to the head, and then give us a freaking proper like showstopper head with the quills and everything attached. That would have been perfect.
Would have been great.
Mike's pissed. I'm pissed too, dude. I'm pissed too. Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Pedro, you're right, but I mean, charge us $5 more. I don't
dude,
care.
I would have
I mean,
paid
just
an
get it
extra
right.
40 for a second head, extra 50 for a second. I mean, if they can give us a display-based skulls and, you know, an extra biomask, they could have given us an extra sculpt for another $35, $40.
Yeah.
Like, would it really have killed them? I don't think so.
So I just want to say something about this. Like, this is cool. I think this is really cool. My only problem with it is like, this is an established different character. So in other words, yeah, okay, it was the concept mask. If it had just remained a concept mask forever, this would hold more value for me. But it's a different character now, so like I'm never going to use it. This is the Guardian Predator, so it it doesn't have much displayability for me because just make a Guardian Predator. I want that. So
Yeah, I
like
get what you're saying.
you know, it's not a concept mask to me. It's a different character. Does that make sense?
No, I get what you're saying, and
You know?
yeah, and to be fair, I think for the Guardian they use the exact same mold. Like it's the same thing.
Same thing.
It is still cool to me, but I would
cool to
never,
have.
I would never like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I need to buy a second one so I could display it like in the concept look. Because number one, you know, with all the inaccuracies, I wouldn't want to do that anyway. But
Right. One thing I will say. Oh, go ahead, Chunker.
I was just gonna read this real quick. Chunker says it's sadder because the Predator line built Hot Toys. And
That's what I was alluding to.
Yes, and again, like Mike and I were saying, the frustration of them freaking getting stuff right on the original one and then going back on it with this, it's just bizarre.
And
It's just so
their
bizarre.
roots are here, and they're not honoring the history of their own company by being lazy. And this isn't like a Predator 2 figure, and I love them all. This is the Jungle Hunter. Like, dude,
Right.
nail this. Okay? One thing I will say, I think this is about 13 and a half inches. Some people have been saying that's undersized. I don't think so. The Predator is
No.
between 7 to 8 feet. So if a 12-inch 6-scale figure is a 6-foot character, a 13 and a half figure is a 7.5 figure.
You know what I think they were doing?
Character. So
I think they were comparing it to the feral Predator, which is he is taller in the film.
Right.
So,
he's like 9 feet.
yeah, it's not. I don't think it's scaled in properly.
Yeah,
And
I
I want
think
to say
it's
this,
scaled.
dude.
Yeah.
Seeing these quills close up really pisses me off because they're literally flat on the face. So even if they were painted, it would look like shit.
It probably, dude, you know what? It might look worse if it was, honestly.
they're
It might look worse.
literally. I didn't even notice this. They're literally flat to the face. They're supposed to be like 3D, you know?
Yeah,
coming
so
up-
it would look like a bunch of black lines.
Yeah,
and
so
it just wouldn't-
maybe we're
yeah.
better off with them not. See, newly
It might
developed
be.
body, I'm not seeing it. It's the same body.
I'm not seeing it either. I will say a little more positivity. I do like the netting looks like substantial. It doesn't look cheap.
Yeah.
The belt, the rope. I'm not.
The skirt
too
looks
sure.
great. The skirt is actually very accurate.
I think
It's
the
very
skirt looks great, but it's a little like flat in texture. Does that make sense? Like it looks.
It's probably because
fake.
it's like laser cut, I would imagine.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't know how to explain it. It's just.
No, I get what you're saying. It needs to like, and maybe when you get it in person, you can kind of like peel the layers back individually with like tweezers and kind of get it to open up a little bit.
Right, or I would dry brush it maybe just to give it some like material depth. Does that make sense?
No, I get what you're
You
saying.
know?
It looks very
Looks like construction paper.
commercialized. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's hilarious. That's a Doc Ock quote. Brilliant but lazy. That's Hot Toys with this one. What's up, Tim? Always great to see you, my dude. Tim says, "What's up, guys? Late to the party. People saying this is good enough, but losing their minds if nose hairs aren't right on the Dark Knight Joker." Bro, yeah. I mean, like I said,
No,
to
he's
each
right.
their
I
own.
mean, yeah.
I
Yeah,
totally
everybody-
understand. Like I said, like people that are just like casual collectors, you're gonna think this is sweet, and that's perfectly fine. I totally get it.
Look, I think it's sweet, man. I can't wait to display this thing. You
Yeah,
know,
me too.
And part of the fun of this is like tearing things apart and then saying, but I still think it's awesome. I mean, it's just like it's part of the fun of the hobby, I guess, you know.
Yeah. Resin Ronan says the Gort mask, which he's talking about which became the Guardian Predator's mask, was ditched because it revealed too much of the Jungle Hunter's features. This bio is repurposed in Predator 2. Yep, for the Guardian Predator. I do wish they gave 2 different head sculpts, though, helmeted and exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that would have been cool. That would have been ideal. They need to change some shit on this. This is just too wrong. There's just so much wrong with it. So much lazy stuff done here. And I think in a long time, this is one of the laziest announcements from Hot Toys. Like, you know, usually I try to be pretty fair with stuff, but there's just so much wrong with this. And like Chunker was saying, like Hot Toys bread and butter was the Predator stuff for years. And I have some of the older Predator stuff, like with the 2.0
Kits
bodies,
and
like the
stuff.
AVP. Right,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff was great. It was great, really, really great stuff.
You think the base could have been built up a little bit better? The base is like a little
That's something I wanted to comment on.
uninspired. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the base, but the
I
more
like
I
it.
look at it, I'm like, it is lacking some foliage. Also, I feel like the base itself is small. So, like, when Hot Toys displayed it at one of the events, he was, like, stepping off of the base. I'm like, what's the point of a base at that point if he's stepping off of it?
Yeah, it's pretty much true for like 80-90% of the bases nowadays, though.
Yeah, I think it's a little ridiculous. Tim said, what I'm saying is that the community is hypocritical because they'll pick the Joker apart but then give this one a pass. I mean, like, that happens. Like I said,
Yeah.
And-
I know.
Chris, I think this is beyond nitpicking on this one. And I kind of said that in my video. I thought I was being nitpicking. Everybody's like, no, you're not. And, the more I look at this, I'm like, this is beyond nitpicking. Like, this is, like, very, very wrong. It's very wrong. Like, there's just so much wrong with it. What's up, by the way, JB? JB said it. I guess he's talking about the Guardian Predator mask. It does kind of look like Leia. It does kind of.
It does, yeah. Everybody has like their slice of nerddom that they'll nitpick,
Right.
and the other 99% of stuff that they're like looks good to me. And so I'll bring up Brick for example. Like Brick was getting roasted because he kind of thought that the Obi-Wan Kenobi looked great and could be swapped with the Revenge of the Sith one. Like, who cares, But then if you hear Brick talk about Venom, he'll dissect Venom for 2 hours and have all these like details and all that stuff. And that's valid. It's valid. Sometimes you just have those things you're passionate about,
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you back, Lane? Or have you
I have been
this
here
whole
this
time?
entire time.
Dude, I wouldn't have
Sorry,
known.
Lane. I didn't mean to steamroll over you.
I wouldn't have known, Lane.
Muted. I've been unmuted the entire time.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Not
dude.
talking.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry.
You guys are more into this figure than I am, so I just just let them go.
So that's okay. So then, Lane, you're a good example of what was just brought up. Like, you look at this and you're like, "What the hell?"
I think it looks great.
good.
I mean,
Good.
it
Yeah.
looks like it looks like. Now, I do agree with you. The gun looks like a pea shooter versus
Right.
the actual movie version. So that I did notice. But
Pea shooter. That's crazy.
well, I mean, just every other. I mean, that looks like it would have been easier than Wolf's turning it into a handgun, but unfortunately, it would have been the Bond
Thanks, Tim.
PK9 version instead of being, the Magnum 44 that Wolf was using for his casket turned into a gun.
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. I honestly I don't pay attention as much to the details with this as you guys do. Now, I do see some of the reuse like you were talking about for the Classic Hunter for the Predators, but I've only ever watched that movie twice. I don't like Predators very much, if at all.
Yeah.
I think I actually like The Predator actually in some
Really?
ways better because it's a stupider movie. And
Yeah,
I
you just
don't
have
take
fun with it.
seriously at all.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the second head sculpt just being the biomass version, I would have preferred because I don't even like having to take off the skull, the look of taking the skull mask off of like the Feral Predator because I feel like because you're putting that onto
Yeah, paint rub.
It feels like paint rub, or
Yeah.
if you just pull it off too fast one time, like you're just
Yeah.
taking it off too fast. Because you're not gonna be like every second, I'm gonna pull it off nice and slow. Sometimes you're gonna be fiddling around, you just pull something off fast. Is that you could do a scratch or something like that unintentionally on the face, like that just is
Right.
something that could happen. Now, very unlikely. But
What happens a lot with the biomass, Lane, is from your fingers touching those ribs on the back of his head, pulling the
Yeah.
mask off and putting it on, it like rubs the paint off of the nubs
Yeah.
on the back of his head where the dreads
Yeah.
start. On the
And
back
even
of the head.
that doesn't make me crazy. I don't pay attention that much.
Stop playing with
that
your
much.
toys.
But yeah, well, I mean, then go buy some 1/12 scale. That's what those are for.
Well, I think that's to Sal's point too, though. Like,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, just the armor, I think was great. I think I think it all is great. But I am always a person who doesn't. It's like I love Darth Vader, but do I pay attention to every little different look? Now, unless when you get like the Revenge of the Sith one, where that one looks really different in a lot of ways
versus the other,
Yeah.
you know, the classic Vader look or something. But I don't like one thing was different with how he wore his cape in or out. I never pay attention to that. I look at it and say it's Darth Vader. But this guy, but I'm going in as a thing where I still think, I think to me the figure looks accurate. I look at it and I can see Jungle Hunter. That's to me at the end of the day all that matters.
No, definitely you can.
Yeah, Lane.
Now, but but it's also not a figure I'm going to buy. So it's it's easy for me to say that. However, if you're someone who's going to spend $340 before shipping and tax, so you're probably going to be putting $400 towards this guy.
Yeah.
You need to kind of be thinking about that. Or are you going to be okay? Now, obviously, this is a prototype. There are things they might update going
they
down
better,
the way.
Lane. They better freaking.
I know,
but we've been getting lucky with that lately.
Everybody in chat, like, if you're considering buying this, where maybe I might go. It sounds like me. The scratch on this part of the biomask isn't exactly, or doesn't look quite as much. I will go. Does it really matter that much? It's battle damage on the mask, so there is some.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can see where for these, if this was, I don't know, just it was a comic concept Predator or something where it was all drawn. I understand where if you were picking on that on a page, that's different to me where you can go, but this was actually something somebody actually like went and made in 3D in real life and actually stuck it on an actor in the middle of the movie.
Let me put it this way, Lane. This is the equivalent of, let's say, hey, we're going to sell an Endgame Captain America, and they just put him in the first Avenger outfit, and then they put Endgame on the box.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is the equivalent to. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be the same for me. I'm more pickier about if they didn't include with Wolf. Like, if they didn't have his, they put him out, gave him all his weapons, but didn't have his whip, mechanical whip type.
Right, like it's a Jungle Hunter, but it's not accurate to the 87 Jungle Hunter.
Yeah,
right.
But at the end of the day, I am also going to say, too, whether rightly or wrongly, you're getting another chance to get this guy in a more modern body. There are things with this one, with the body and some other production stuff they might be doing, to me, offset some of the inaccuracies, which is going to make it. Is it going to be an overall probably better figure at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
It might. Now, if you're like super OCD about some of the changes and stuff, then I would tell you don't buy it. But you're getting.
Oh, you're telling me not to buy it, Lane.
Yeah, if you're going to be OC, well, I mean, you can always just transfer it to something else, especially if you did it for off the rack.
Lane, I will fix him. I could fix you.
I know.
Hunter.
I'm just saying. I am going from the perspective a little bit more general look, but I'm very like that in a lot of ways for a lot of figures, for even characters that I really, really care about, like Luke Skywalker. If someone told me, hey, his pocket isn't exactly like in a thing, I'm like, does it look like Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker? Can I look at it? And I can go, that's Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi. That's all I care about. I'm not super, super into the accuracy or dense. There are times where I can be, if it's something super, like the hairstyle is completely different than how it looked in the movie to me, where that's different.
But I think, Lane, if they had a perfect Luke Skywalker and then, 10 years later they did a 2.0 and went backwards.
And, gave him Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber hilt.
That would bother you. You'd notice that.
Hey, I mean, there is kind of like that, even though I guess they say it's kind of an Ahsoka, the Sith apprentice Darth Vader, when they originally put that figure out, I thought Vader actually came with two separate
sabers.
I thought it came with the Darth Vader hilt. That was the red saber one, and I thought the blue one was his, Anakin Skywalker one, because I was thinking of it more of a concept style figure. And then no, they actually, it's the red one is the main one, but they gave you the blue.
They didn't tell you they gave you the blue blade.
Yeah. But if you try to light it up, the light up version, it's red. So
because they use a red light.
Just
use a white light.
So, I mean,
the fuck?
So you're like, that figure was $400. Like, to buy it, leaving out how hard it was to get. That was a 440 translated to almost $450 before whatever tax or whatever they would have to pay over there in Japan or in Hong Kong, you know, for any kind of tax stuff like that, out the door for buying that figure. So that's kind of the same similar thing. Like, why didn't you guys just throw a 50-cent lightsaber, put in Darth Vader's lightsaber? You guys have done 5,000 times. It probably cost you $1 to make it.
It's cutting them costly, and it's stuff. I know. It's stuff like same with this. Like they know that they can get away with some of this stuff.
And I didn't really care at the other day. I was just like, well, he's got a lightsaber.
Thank Lane. That's see, I'm glad I have Maz here because Maz is my one of my fellow Predator guys. Maz actually was the one that made me go crazy for the Predator figures because he's been collecting them for years.
Yeah, I
know.
But
I know Maz is on my side with this when we say this thing is.
You guys say this, but are any one of you guys considering buying a $3,000 Predator third scale statue right now?
No.
You're like, I am Mr. Predator.
I will buy this. I will buy this and modify it.
So before you guys start going like, oh, Mr.
No, I'm not.
I might be dying a $3,000 Predator.
Trust me, if I could, I would get all the
$2,500 one.
I've said it, Lane. If I could, and if I had the unlimited funds and the space, I would get all three.
But I'm a big Predator guy.
I would get all the AVP Youngblood Prime 1 statues because they're amazing. By the way, MB Dyson.
That's $1,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money and a lot of space. They're massive. By the way, what's up to MB Dyson, Yomo? A couple other people jumped in that I didn't say hi to. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
MB Dyson, I also did a video breaking down all of my thoughts on this, kind of sharing my thoughts on all of the inaccuracies and things that I could see need fixing. So if you'd like to watch my 25-minute long video breaking it down, I also did the same in my own way. So
now
we've had a lot of good comments in the. Go ahead, Lane.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that was a great bit. Finish up with your comments.
No, I was gonna say I think everybody's being very, very fair about it in the chat. It's
I think the expectation is now this is Hot Toys setting the expectation a little bit. So this may not be the smartest thing on their part. Is I think they have set the expectation that we expect they are going to do. Now they're not going to necessarily get everything all the different things that you're talking about. But there are things I think we're expecting them to update because they've set the precedent with like just recently we were talking about Feral Predator. Yeah. Like they set the precedent. They've done this multiple times. Just this year, or end of last year. Why am I suddenly forgetting her name? Mantis. They updated her head sculpt.
Yeah.
Like they've done this multiple times. So I think now, if they keep everything the same with this, and a year and a half from now, like I would understand why you guys would have some issues with it,
dude.
They just updated. What was it? What's his name? The animated character. Well, no, it was live action. The Netflix show.
Monkey D. Luffy or Luffy.
Yeah. They just updated him. I don't really think anybody was even asking for it. But they did it.
When that thing's been sitting on the $20 coupon for Sideshow for like
right.
By the way, what's up, Trevor? Great to see you, bro.
What's up, Trev?
But that's but you guys made a lot of points. However, I'm just going to say, Hot Toys, I think baseline, I can look at that and I go Jungle Hunter Predator. I could just look at it. I know who it is.
Which Lane, to be fair. Going along with my point, regardless, it is a Jungle Hunter Predator because it's using parts from the classic Predator from Predators because he's part of the Jungle Hunter clan.
I know.
But Lane, this is the reason this is so important. And going along with Chunker's comment here, we can draw that line with a lot of things. We're like, that's good enough. This is not even close to good enough. There is so much wrong with it. It's just pure.
You're not being consistent. You've been doing this since the first thing, like.
Right, there's just so much
like a pile of shit.
Yeah, there's just so much wrong with it. It's so lazy. And like Mike and I were harping on the hands. How do you have the hands right over 10 years ago, or at least mostly right, and then you just ditch that and you're like, you know what? Let's just throw this out there.
And use the same hands again, not like update stuff or anything after 10.
Right, and it's like, what did you change apart from, adding the third dread beads on each one of the dreads and then like taking some of that green out of the armor? All those months we waited for this to go for pre-order, not much changed. Sal says we also look at the Batman 2.0. They included that second head sculpt where you can move, not accurate, but still includes the accurate version of the cowl. Right, so that kind of goes along with what we were saying about like including a second head sculpt with all of the quills attached and then having one with the built-in biomask. If they did that, they could make the freaking biomask look much more accurate in shape too. Like there's so many reasons for them to do that.
There are iterations of characters that Howie just obviously doesn't care about. Like, look at Batman Begins. I mean, come on. That's just another example.
Yeah, that is the worst.
The
Batman
ultimate.
we've done.
Yeah.
So bad, dude. I'm so glad that like custom capes and cowls exist because that saved that figure for me, dude.
There's a whole industry around fixing that figure.
Whereas, like, you look at like a lot of the newer Spider-Man figures, and they're pretty solid. And they, a lot of the details are pretty close. Not the Tobey Spider-Man, that the first one. That one's awful. Resin Ronin, and a lot of people are mentioning Dutch, so we might as well talk about it now. Resin Ronin says, do you think they'll do 2 versions of Dutch, muddy and clean versions, similar to how they did the T800s? Honestly, if we get another Dutch, I think it's going to be a one and done. I hate to like shut down because I'm working on a custom muddy Dutch. Like I have one that I bought that needs to be reworked. I think we'll get another clean version. And the only reason I say this, not as like wishful thinking, but clearly Hot Toys is working with Arnold right now pretty closely because we got 2 figures back to back from Terminator 2. So. And not only that, I would
Mr. Freeze, the one
and Mr. Freeze as well. That's right, Mr. Freeze.
We really never thought we would actually.
Great point, Lane. How am I forgetting about Mr. Freeze? Yeah, like also Mr. Freeze as well. So very possibly we'll get a new Dutch, and also like they have Dutch's knife stuck in the deluxe base. So hopefully that's a little like, hey, we're gonna be doing Dutch. Obviously that could mean nothing.
What I was gonna mention is
would have been cool if they teased him here, with like just show it back, his back and arm or something.
I know. Assistant, that's what we need to do. Hashtag fix 87 Jungle Hunter. Everybody needs to start throwing that in. I need to make the picture.
Yeah, but they didn't end up working very well actually for Black Suit Spider-Man.
They fixed a lot on that figure. I think that definitely worked late. Yeah. They fixed a lot on that figure. That figure improved a lot. It was still not perfect, but
what I was going to bring up actually for this guy, if I was considering getting this guy, I would say because how would it pair up if because I may be having coming soon a John Matrix from Commando.
Yeah, from Commando. I mean,
they're literally Dutch and Matrix are literally almost the same character. Like
I could see it working. I could see it. Oh yeah, dude. I'm scared to see what Caustic does for Conan. I think they're doing 3 or 4 variants of Conan, and I probably will want all of them because Arnold. I can't explain how much Arnold as an actor means to me. Yes, and they did fix a lot on the Feral Predator. The seamless torso, which to be fair, like the seams that they had on it were pretty cleverly hidden, but still seamless torso. The dreads that were like posable, which is a stupid idea because they lay really weird on the head. They fixed that. There's a couple things I would have liked to have seen done differently, but overall the Feral looks pretty damn good. This is not even close to pretty damn good for me. Again, guys, I totally understand, and like Liam was kind of touched on it. Like a lot of you are going to look at this and be like, this is awesome, and I don't want to kill your excitement for it because I don't like to do that, but I'm fighting for us guys because this is such a big figure and it's so important. I would like to see changes made to it because this is just very, very lazy. Very, very lazy. Yeah. And I'm fine with lazy, but very lazy. Yeah. I don't want to say I'm fine with lazy, but sometimes I am.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not fine with it, but I'm excited for it. I want more Predators. I got the Samurai Predator coming. I want to build out my Predator line. I wasn't collecting when the first or the 2, I guess the original, I want to say like 2.0s came out because like Hot Toys has done a few iterations like of Predators lines throughout the years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm really excited. I want to get, so that'll be 3 now, right? There's 3 that we're all waiting for that are now on pre-order currently.
Yeah.
I guess the Feral has now released. So
Samurai Predator, Jungle Hunter,
Jungle and Feral.
Yeah. Feral, yeah. So, which is great to see that we've had 3 Predators within the past year. Like that's very exciting. And like I said, I don't want to take away from that. This is a very exciting announcement. It needs work.
I hope they sell like crazy, dude, because I want to send the right message and I want more aliens. So I want to get. It's awesome that we have that one coming out from the last film, but like, let's go. Let's 2.0 all the 80s classic stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited for the Samurai Predator Maz. I know you told me before you weren't a fan of the original one. I have it in my collection. I freaking love it. I really do. I love it. I love the little details on it, like the xenomorph mouths and everything hanging off it. I think it's sweet. But I know you're not like a huge I know you're like not a huge fan of it. I remember you telling me when I first asked you about it. Guys, real quick though, I want to take a look at Hera because this is one of the releases from this week. I kind of already know what Mike kind of thinks of it for the most part. Me personally, there has been some changes, especially to like the collar on the shirt and everything. I think the head sculpt looks awesome. I'm gonna be real with y'all. You know, I'm not seeing like a huge downgrade from the prototype personally. I know some people have made some comments on the width of the chin and stuff. I don't know. I feel like in some shots I can see what you're talking about, and others I'm like maybe it's just like some shadows being cast heavily on the chin in certain angles. I don't know. I think it looks like was it Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor's wife. I think it looks like her. Also, like, I'm glad that they kept like the strong female proportions on this one. And dude, there's a shot where she's like looking back at it, like looking at her shoulder. I'm
That's
like,
a great shot. Not in a
Right.
pervy way, but I mean, it's a great shot because it counteracts what people
Either
are
way.
saying that they.
Either way, I mean,
But when people are like, "Oh, they totally changed the body," I think it's just the way
up,
you.
bro.
It's the
Hold
way
up.
you pose her. Like
Cobra. That's crazy though. It
Yeah.
really is.
I'm actually surprised they got away with doing that.
Sheesh.
Right in Chopper's optical.
Yeah, that's right. Chopper's
And
definitely
again,
mumbling
this is
something
not to be
inappropriate.
pervy, but like, you know, the way that it frames like her boobs and everything,
Yeah.
it looks very realistic. Like legitimately, I know we're
Yeah.
all making jokes about this because it's just a crazy picture from Hot Toys,
It's a
but
very feminine
right,
silhouette.
I like it.
that
I
she
think it
cuts
looks
there,
good,
and it looks great.
and like all the
Will not be Dave
Mandalorians,
Filoni approved.
No.
all the Mandalorians that they've done in the past, apart from like Sabine, have had very like boxy backsides.
Right.
So I feel like this is a good step in the right direction. It's very feminine looking.
Dave's like, I went out of my way to create the first non-sexualized Twi'lek, and this is what you do.
I mean, they picked a beautiful actress. That's his fault.
Yeah,
That's
that's
his
from
fault.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, she's a sexy lady. That's why Ewan McGregor is laughing even more when he says, "Hello there."
Yeah.
Hello.
It's
there.
just so
Yeah.
cool that they're both in Star Wars. I just
And
think
his
that's cool.
daughter's in it too.
Yeah, his
Yep.
daughter's in it as well. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's
the whole
cool,
thing.
man.
And his uncle was Wedge.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
She
I always
said,
forget
don't
that.
go do Star Wars.
Dude, that like
originally.
attitude.
Amazing.
I love the attitude on this sculpt. It's very Hera. You
Yeah.
know, Hera's always that character. Like I could do
And
this
they've said in
myself. You know what I
season
mean?
2. Now, I don't know if
Mhm.
we can take this with a grain of salt, obviously, because I clearly remember back when episode 8 was supposed to come out, they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more with Captain Phasma barbecuing."
Right.
Yeah,
you never
we're gonna
know.
go-
We're gonna do.
Dave said we're getting a lot more Chopper this season. A lot of people
we're
are
gonna
asking
get a
about
lot more
Chopper.
Chopper and a lot. He said Hera will have
A lot of
more to
Thrawn
do.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree
see
with
how
Trevor
it-
here too. I think it
I don't
probably
see
is
how
just
it-
lighting.
Yeah.
I don't see how in 8 episodes he's going to be doing a lot of anything with 8 30-minute episodes.
That's crazy.
That's the
Yeah.
problem too. There's 28-minute, 26-minute episodes with 10-minute, credits.
This is crazy. Flavio says, Shawty got me ready to risk it all under the twins' sons. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Everybody drop the cake. Man. That's hilarious. Chopper
Yeah.
approves. Dude, yeah, that's wild, man. It really is
Yeah.
wild that
they
they...
did do like this one. I'm actually really excited for.
Yeah, the sculpt's
Even-
beautiful, man. I really like
they
it.
did a
It-
nice job with the outfit.
It definitely looked like a downgrade though. When you first looked at it, you're like, that is not the sculpt that I was like
It's
wowed
definitely
by.
not- It's not
And
quite as good. Not
It's
quite as
probably, like Trevor said, lighting, but it may be that few percentage points of downgrade as well. I think it's probably
Still
a
a 9
combination
out
of
of 10.
those.
good. To me, it's a 9
Yeah.
out of 10.
I think in hand it's going to look great. Early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she looks awesome. Chunker said the female proportions from Hot Toys have massively improved. It used to, yeah, exactly. Like you could look at like Bo-Katan and Casca. They kind of have like a square backside. And
Yeah.
I actually recently body swapped them with the Sabine Wren bodies, and they look 10 times better. 10 times better.
I don't ever really have. I don't know. I don't pose my figures backwards, so I'm not really going to notice it. But
It's not even no. Of course, I didn't body swap them just to look at their.
I know.
hands. It's mainly because I mainly body swapped them because the single jointed elbows bothered the crap out of me for a Mandalorian. So that's
That's a
why
good
I did it.
reason why-
But even the male, even male butts on figures look ridiculous when you turn them around. They're like
Yeah.
they all look like
Like Miguel O'Hara, they nerfed the crap out of his booty, dude. Like crazy.
I have to say overall that this Ahsoka line for as well, I don't think the Ahsoka line has probably sold great overall. I mean, a lot of the figures are
none of them hit
repainted.
waitlist outside of Marek.
A few. No, Merrick has Rex did recently. But you're probably gonna be able to
I'm sorry.
You'll be able,
Merrick was
sorry,
a pretty
before
quick
they-
wait list.
But Rex was released and then hit waitlist. So I guess I meant to
Yeah.
say none of them have hit waitlist before release,
yeah, no. But
besides Merrick.
But a lot of the main characters seem like they're going to be hanging around for a bit. But I think overall, head sculpt wise, that this line has probably been maybe one of the best consistent ones that they've done, because
Definitely.
now
even the
not all of
troopers
us
lane.
here, even the well, I was going to say where the night trooper is a little bit hard because it's still just kind of a stormtrooper helmet for the most part, but with the zombie death trooper, with
Yeah,
the
I love that
smoke,
helmet, dude. It's so cool, man.
The Hera
Enoch.
here, the Ahsoka, the Padawan Ahsoka actually, I think came out pretty much looking like the prototype, pretty much.
Yeah, I
That
think
was a
she
good
looks
one
very
of her.
close to the prototype. Yeah.
And then obviously the main Ahsoka, the white. Now we haven't all gotten here in the United States that in hand.
Yeah, we're a little behind on stuff, that's for
A
sure.
lot behind.
We're a little
But
behind. Yeah.
Captain Enoch, which I think you got him in, didn't you?
Yeah,
You
and like
know?
the weathering is pretty awesome on him.
And his the even though it's kind his is a weird thing because it's a helmet, but it's kind of in between a helmet and a facial sculpt kind of thing too. His came out fantastic. Merrick came looking out great. Now, is he the most interesting looking or character? No.
Yes.
But they nailed him. They
I was gonna
nailed.
say, I think he looks pretty interesting. I love that.
Yeah, I
like
think
the,
so.
the
But
rust on his
they-
armor and stuff.
Yeah.
They nailed this line really good. I just think it's kind of unfortunate. Maybe they ended up doing a couple too many figures in it. I don't know if it needed to be 15 so much, but
I love the colors, man. I mean, they're really, clearly from animation.
yeah, even the Super Commando came out pretty good.
Mm-hmm. When you have all three of these females all in a line, like in one of these photos, they look great. Like you got the orange Ahsoka, the green.
But
really
we
cool.
didn't.
I don't think I pulled this up. Sorry, Valk. Sorry to cut you off, Lane. Valk, I don't think I pulled this up. I must have missed this. Thank you, Valk, for the 199 super chat. He says we needed an Artisan Hera. Yeah, I don't know how they would do that.
I think we actually have that. I think this is Artisan Hera.
I guess it's as close as we can get. Yeah.
Um,
Sorry about that, Valk. I didn't realize I missed that. I apologize.
And Clone
Thank you so much.
Trooper said, "Look at that tool bag." For some reason, that just made me laugh out loud. I had to mute myself for a second.
I do like the little accessories she came with and everything, and she's still
They do.
available for pre-order, guys. And her pricing is actually like $260, I think, on Sideshow.
Very fair for what you get.
I love this pose here, by the way, grabbing the goggles. It's really cool.
This is an overall. They did a nice job with this figure, but I totally understand where a lot of people maybe passed on this line, since the show is kind of mid.
If you don't have Rebels love, I think you're skipping this, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and maybe now some people, like Moose was asking how far they'll go down the Rebels line. Maybe now they'll try to sneak in some stuff. Who knows? I would love to see more for sure.
That Darth Vader from Hano is really cool. I have to admit,
it is.
I really do like.
Quickly going through the photos on this one. I think this looks very spot on to the prototype.
Rex. I want that Rex man so bad.
Yeah, the Rex is sick. I think
you
that
miss
Rex
it,
looks
Lane?
way better.
No, I have it on pre-order.
Oh, okay, good.
I got off the Rex, the last one. Originally, I let him
Nice.
cancel. I had him paid off, but I let him cancel because that money went to help pay for Darth Vader.
Yeah, she looks really good. Dude. I know in some shots people are saying she looks like a baby doll. I could see it with the certain lighting. It kind of makes the face look cheap. But generally speaking, I think I would never pose these arms like that ever because I don't trust it.
I like kind of.
She's got a baby doll face though. This actress, and I don't mean that in
Yeah.
a bad way. She's like she's got a round, super cute
I kind of
young
wish they had
girl's
gone
face.
for her.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had used her season 7 like outfit she had.
Because she did have that in one of the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the cool
when they
thing is
did
we
the
have
last
that
one.
one already,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah, I own that one.
something different, But I hear what you're saying. Maybe
Yeah,
next
this is-
season 2 though, dude. Season 2, she's in it a lot. I hear.
Rex, man, I want that figure.
I was
That
looking
phase
back
one
at
armor.
the. Yeah, it looks good, man. I was looking back at the General Anakin figure from this line with that little smirk on the sculpt.
Yeah.
I love that sculpt, man. I cannot wait for that.
We are
great
on
sculpt,
we are on opposite ends on the street on that one.
Well, I think you
I
can
like
dislike
that
you can
sculpt.
dislike
I
the
love it.
expression, but I
I-
think
I-
the sculpt is good. Like I think
I
what they
think
were.
so. Yeah, I think it just looks like he's too busy at being high on death sticks, man. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why he's Death Stick. That's Death Stick Anakin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one Anakin said. That is. Plus, I already owned the first Clone Wars one, and that.
Well, I said it myself, Lane. That's like the teacher Anakin, like having his arms
Yeah.
behind his back. Like
Yeah,
that's what I want.
I know, but it looks bizarre to me. Like that's a bizarre choice.
Yeah. MB Dyson, yes. I'm glad that as of late they've been more consistent with the materials.
Yeah.
I would like to see that continuing moving forward. Love to see like the nylon suits for Vader and stuff. That's a huge upgrade. But yeah.
Yeah, that is the one thing I have with Hera is that I'm worried like her and like my range trooper are going to be going into pleather degrade hell.
Yeah,
it's such a missed opportunity because I don't know if anything in the Star Wars universe is made of leather, right? It's a galaxy far, far away. But a flight jacket, a bomber jacket, that's so like a 1-to-1.
And it's brown leather, so it's very easy to replicate.
Thing, you think? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it looks like literally something may have been Indy's backup jacket from Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a very interesting announcement. I was very excited for it. You guys know I like Disney stuff. I have not seen the film yet, but this thing is freaking massive. I wish I had photos pulled up of this.
His price point was amazing.
What is he like?
Wow,
210, 215? Yeah, great. And guys, this is a 15-inch figure. I was told from someone who's seen it in person in Hong Kong, it's bigger than Grogu. It's taller than Grogu. So it's a big piece. And based on the calculations of what Disney says the height is for Stitch, which is like 3 feet tall, according to Disney's wiki, this would make him like in between 1/3 and 1/4 scale. So it's a pretty big piece at 15 inches tall. But I was told in person there's like saliva painted on the teeth, like it's like glossy, and that he's like a fully posable plush, essentially, kind of like the poo that they did years ago.
That's cool.
But yeah, don't be fooled by these photos. He's massive. It's a massive piece. It really is. It's 15 inches tall, man.
I might have missed this if you said this already, but so this is from the live action version that hasn't come out yet. Is that right?
This just came out this past weekend. It was opening weekend this past weekend.
$340 million worldwide.
Yeah, something slight. Something slight.
It made more money than the entire original did its entire run.
Yeah,
man, it's cool. My kids are still a little too, can't get them to sit through a movie yet, but I've never seen this. You could put this up in a lineup. I would call it up. I wouldn't know what it was.
Oh, I love the animated Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I've seen the movie 4 or 5 times.
I want the Macquarie set too.
I would love this. That Rebels Vader from Hono is like a little taste of Macquarie right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Sal, I think it probably does have some sort of armature underneath, if I had to guess. Someone told me it was fully posable, but I can't remember how they worded it. Obviously, it's fully posable. You can see it in the photos, but I don't remember how they worded it. But the ears are posable. I think at the very least, those probably have wiring in them. The mouth can open and close. It's just really cool. It looks great. And if you look at like the animation, or the CGI, I should say, from him on screen, I think it looks pretty damn close. So I think this is really cool. I'm very excited for it. You guys know I love Disney stuff, so I'm picking this up. I know a lot of people might not find room for it in their display because it is gigantic. Again, these photos really don't do it justice for the size. It's 39
huge.
centimeters
It's
tall.
big.
Yeah. Bigger than the Hot Toys 1-to-1 Grogu.
I need to see the movie first before I would do a commit. And I already know that I have a couple things may drive me crazy with the live action, but I'm probably going to go see it this upcoming weekend. I was going to go see Thunderbolts and went, oh crap, Lilo and Stitch is coming out. Oh,
so it's like nearly 16 inches.
Yeah.
Wow. That doesn't count for how big, massive.
And this is not 1-to-1 scale either, so.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have them in your Hot Toys display as like a kaiju or something.
I just worry I see this thing and it's going to make me want to go try and track down like that Piglet and.
Yeah, that's like the last
Winnie
of the Disney
Pooh
collection I need, dude. I have Maleficent. I have all the Tron figures, including the Light Cycle. I have all that stuff.
Well,
so
you might have to keep your eyes out for some other Tron upcoming and maybe a new.
Oh, I'll be getting all the stuff from
absolutely.
Ares. Trust me, I'll be getting all that.
Oh my God, they made a Lane figure.
I know, I couldn't believe it. Guys, I have a little tinge of info for you. I know Kit posted this photo and
Bane? Jesus.
Yeah, Kit posted this photo and didn't say anything.
Bane. I thought it was Lane. Sorry.
Yeah. This is actually, guys, for those of you who guessed, you guessed correctly. This is Mars Toys. So this will be an offering from Mars Toys, I think, very soon, because usually when these photos go up, it's about ready for pre-order. I did suggest a couple things to Mars when it comes to this figure. I won't say what it is because I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'll let you guys know if it happens. I'll say, hey, I was the one that told him to do that. Honestly, seeing this unpainted and now seeing it painted, when I saw it unpainted, I was like, I don't know how those arms are going to look. This actually looks pretty damn good. Like, I feel like the paint really blends those seams pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you do have single jointed elbows. We see that very often with figures like this, so it doesn't look too ugly in that elbow area.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Chunker, I will say this. I have sent to Mars, I've sent a lot of references, and I talked to him about it like 3 months ago, and recently he asked me, what was the name of this character again? And he sent me a picture of her. So,
wow.
I don't want to get your guys' hopes up, but I've been pushing him to potentially work on that. I don't
Guys,
get it.
That would be great.
It would be very early in development if he is working on it. I've seen nothing, and I wouldn't, if he did tell me, I wouldn't be able to share much with you. But I have been pushing Mars to do it. I've been asking him, so we'll see. Yeah, Steve, I don't know about that Cara Dune. I made a joke about it to Mars not long ago, and he basically was like, yeah, eventually. He's working on so much stuff, especially with all the Batman stuff. Who knows, dude? Who knows when it's going to come out? I like this Bane, dude. I love the when he shrivels up and loses his entire size. Like, this is hilarious, dude. I'm definitely going to get this for sure. I know Jazz is going to be working on a Poison Ivy. Maybe Mars will finish his as well because I think he showed a teaser not long ago. But this is one that a lot of companies won't do. So. Sorry.
Sorry. I missed that Cara Dune comment, but yes.
Yeah, Mars did show a Cara Dune prototype a while ago. This is probably 2 years ago almost at this point, if not 2 years. But yeah, this is really cool. And I know everybody's asking about the Willy Wonka. Mars has said the Willy Wonka is coming out very soon. So trust me, I've got one of those on pre-order for myself, and it was actually a wedding gift for Chris when he got married over 2 years ago. So I have two of those to pay for. So eventually, when they get released, I'll be very excited for that. But I know he made some tweaks to the sculpts and made them better and everything. But yeah, this is very exciting, guys. Unfortunately, this is all we have. But I think it's looking pretty good. I really like how the paint kind of blended in all the seams. I think this looks pretty awesome.
I think those arms look great. I think he looks great in general.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at how well the paint blended the seams. Like I said, I saw this unpainted at one point, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But it looks pretty awesome here. I really like it. Guys, believe it or not, it's going to wrap it up. We, what are we? An hour 55. I'm surprised we didn't break 2 hours as long as we talked about those other two figures.
Yep.
I would have liked to have talked about the Jazz Inc. stuff, guys. I know we got some really awesome pre-orders up from Jazz Inc. I did pre-order. Of course, you guys know I pre-ordered the animated version of the BTAS Batman. And I got the signature edition because why not? I still have to pre-order the Penguin 2-pack. I've been slacking on that. When I saw that freaking NRD of like $500 for, and that was obviously set by Jazz because he probably wants to avoid people like not being serious about the pre-orders, because that was the same through Spec Fiction as well. It was like 500 something through Kit and Spec. So yeah, it's a lot to pre-order, a lot to pay for pre-orders at one time. And then plus, we didn't talk about it, guys, but Blitzway announced on the 5th we will be seeing the pre-order for the Ghostbusters finally. So very, very excited for that. Of course, if we do have a show next week, actually the June 5th, so it'll be the following week we would talk about that. But yeah, really excited to see that, guys. I canceled the Present Toys versions because I did not want to get those and miss out on the Blitzway. And I'm happy that I did, because Blitzway is finally going to be putting up the pre-order. So a lot of really cool stuff to pre-order and spend your money on. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. I know at some point, guys, we had over 90 people watching, so I apologize if I missed any comments, but the support is amazing. I appreciate you guys. As always, all the donations, all the people chatting, you guys are awesome. And I appreciate you guys being patient as I'm wiping my nose and being gross on stream.
Grosser on stream, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, there's always a certain level.
Right. You got to allow a little bit of grossness. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the kind words. And X-Man says, yeah, there's no way I'm doing the 2-pack, but I'll do the Deluxe Mayor. Dude, I just have so much love for the Burton Batman films. I'm just going to go crazy and get whatever anybody does. So, that's my excuse for being crazy.
I feel like,
thank you, Noon Tunes. I appreciate
the pricing for some of the Jazz Inc. though is like, I feel like I can't go over after J&D and Kojin Toys for some of their ridiculous pricing on. some of their stuff, like the Joker, the Batman, and their Catwoman.
Yeah, the Jazz stuff is very expensive, but also because he's going so hard on making it as accurate as possible and adding all these accessories, like I get it. And to be fair, I think there's like 5 SKUs for the mayor, so there's a lot of options at least. And I got to give Yost credit for that. He did give us a lot of options. So, but Mike, Lane, thank you so much, my friends, as always, for being here. I appreciate you guys. And guys, again, everybody in the chat, any comments I missed, I do apologize, but thank you everybody for being here as always. And we'll most likely see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST. Guys, have a great rest of your week and weekend. If I don't see you, join the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. If you haven't already, it's a great time over there. And that's about it. Check out Thrawn's office on Instagram.
Come
Take
say
care,
hi.
guys. We'll
Thanks,
see you next
chat.
time.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.